Hello! I'm Sammy P. I'm your Game Master for Empire and Shadow, the Compact. Welcome! If you are watching us on Twitch, fantastic. Thank you very much for joining us. If you're watching later on YouTube, just want to let you know that you can watch this show live at 5 p.m. Saturday Eastern Standard Time, or if you're like a lot of us in the show, 8 a.m. Australian Eastern Standard Time. Today, we're at episode 3 for Empire and Shadow. So let's quickly just whip round and everyone say hi. Zane, how are you? How's your week been?
My week has been, good. It's been good. Let's just stick with good. It's been a great week. And I think my building has fixed its internet problems, so I should be here the whole session.
Yes. That was I was telling Steve about that, and how at some point after all I was like, I don't think Zane's moved for like at least a couple of minutes.
And it was such stank face. You were like,
yeah, he had,
oh no,
this perfect level of judgment on your face.
Yeah.
So like, I don't know, seems good, seems correct.
Close enough to my resting face that you didn't know.
Yeah. It was we just hadn't heard Sly's voice in a while. I was like, that doesn't seem right. What's going on? Jamie, how are you this week?
I am very well. I am surviving the crazy heat wave here on the eastern seaboard, and it's been a lot of like consignment to my small air-conditioned bedroom. I have like a portable air conditioner, and it can only keep one room cold at a time. So,
definitely
that's been most of my week.
I'm definitely eyeing.
I highly recommend it.
I've got like air conditioning in most of the house, but where the computer is here, no, not so much.
Yeah.
So it's not great. Marie,
well, that's the thing,
how are you two? Oh, sorry. That's fine. Well, Marie, how are you?
You're Australians talking about heat and aircon. You guys could go for days, so I will jump in. I'm Ree, and I'm excited to be here today. I just ate way too much cake. I feel quite ill. So I'm really interested to see how well I go. And I apologize for any loose burping on my end. Let's have fun.
I don't know about this concept of too much cake. I don't know if I approve of that message.
Well, when you feel this sick, it's way too much.
Yeah, no, that's fair. And coming up last, but definitely not least, as we've mentioned in previous episodes, Chantel has a scheduling conflict, which means she hasn't been able to join us. And hopefully next week will be the last week that's the case, and then the week after that we will be graced by her presence. But until then, today we have Steve. Steve, how are you? I was telling people about you while we were waiting in the tunnel about your some of your past exploits.
Oh yes, well I am a freelance writer. I've been working in the game design industry for 20-something years now. And I wrote a couple of supplements for Shadows of the Demon Lord, so I've, met the demon himself, not quite. And yeah, so it's good to be back in the vibe. Yeah, it's good to be back in the world of Earth and having fun.
Ah, fantastic. All right, and as I said, I'm Sammy P. I'll be your game master. As I said in the tunnel, I'm super excited. So let's just quickly go over our fabulous sponsors, and then we'll jump into the game. So our sponsors are Fantasy Grounds, which are our virtual tabletop of choice. All of our roles that you'll see tonight are using Fantasy Grounds, which you can try for free at fantasygrounds.com. You can also get all your miniatures from Wayland Games. So if you go to waylandgames.co.uk, you can get yourself a huge range of D&D, Warhammer, and 40k miniatures for 20% off, which, as we mentioned, they're already quite expensive, so any discount is fantastic. And finally, Tabletop Loot provides fantastic dice, which we are going to be giving away should we hit some stream goals. So if you go to tabletoploot.com, you can see the kinds of sets that you could win each session. As I mentioned in the tunnel, the first goal is to hit 20 retweets for the for this show, and then we will give away some tabletop loot dice. There are also subscription goals if we can meet. But if you go !sponsor into chat, you will get the details and links to the sponsors. Also, you can interact with today's game. You can donate that by going !donate, and you can provide our players with natural 1s or natural 20s, some wild magical surges, or this month's special, the Table of Pets, which we still haven't seen. I am equally excited for, and in slight dread about.
You say that, but I swear we had like 4 pets already.
Yeah, there's a lot of pets.
That's fair. Like, we kept joking about how it would be difficult to keep pets alive, and then everyone kept just randomly rolling that they had pets. So, they've lived so far. How hard could it be?
Yeah.
that felt like tempting fate, and now I don't know about that. But let's jump into the game. So, last week, if you have not seen our session, and if you haven't, why not? But our intrepid group of agents were sent by the Compact to investigate some strange discrepancies in the numbers of people leaving on a sort of a relocation mission, and the people arriving. Essentially, a group within the cult of the New God, known as the New God, has put forward an initiative that, now that it seems like things are a bit safer after people feared it was when the Emperor was assassinated or murdered 10 years ago, and a lot of refugees flooded out of the capital. They've mostly been relocated around the Holy Kingdom, which is a province to the northwest of the capital. But they're now being relocated to towns and cities so they can actually try and rebuild their lives and not be living in 10 cities. And there was because of these weird discrepancies, particularly because they were going in a province known as Tyr, which is run by the only living heir of the Emperor and is a bit of a supply line for the Compact. You guys were sent to investigate what was going on, which you got to the beginning of discovering. You sort of worked out kind of what was happening, but not why or how to stop it. You ended up discovering that there was a town known as Dewhurst that was, for some reason, having their information was delayed, so that there's only in the last minute people discovering they were going to Dewhurst, and then apparently they were being given to beastmen. Or so that's how it appeared. You managed to save those people and take them back to this convoy, and you kept with the convoy until you reached their first stop, which was the East Keep, at which point Lottie, who had arranged the paperwork for you, has told you that she's actually going to head back so that she can investigate this paper trail. She's convinced that there has to be a paper trail somewhere, but it's not here. It's back in the Holy Kingdom, so that is where she has gone to deal with this. Now, what I want to know is, when you rejoined the convoy, what did you tell? When you reported why you were returning with these 12 people, what did you tell the soldiers and the guards that the cult had provided for the protection of this group?
Well, I think Amelia would go to Aurum because he was the one we befriended amongst the soldiers. Yes,
he was your sort of like point of contact for the group that you were in. So after sort of telling, I feel like we can sort of quickly go over this.
I tell him the whole story that the local guards abandoned us and made it seem like they were attacked, and then beastmen came out of nowhere. But once we dispatched them, we noticed that the guards had just booked it back to the town.
Yeah, so this story through Aurum sort of cycles through the various ranks, goes up through the Hammers of Justice, through to the leader of this convoy, which was a knight who was a member of the New Dawn, and her name was Morana. Morana, and so you haven't had any contact with her. She was always just sort of like, you knew she was the one in charge, but she obviously, your point of contact was Aurum. But you've now that you've been you were brought to her, and you can see that she's this sort of very devout person. So she has got that sort of like the fury that only a person who's like a religion has been affronted, and also because the New Dawn are the ones organizing this, it's almost like she's taking this as like a personal personal attack. So once you have arrived at the East Keep, you are brought into a sort of meeting with Morana, with a few of the other people from this group, and also members of the garrison in East Keep, which includes the garrison commander, a man that you now know is Reginald Zals, who is someone who you've now had time to converse with, and you feel isn't up to the task. He's clearly not had to do anything difficult for a while, and so he's obviously let himself slip. He also comes across as a bit of that kind of like mean bullying nature that comes from cowardice. So he's got that sort of, and so those are the people you've been dealing with for a short while. And I'm mainly curious to know, like sort of in general, like how much detail you've gone into, and whether or not you've sort of told them that you plan to. I'm assuming you plan to head back, but how much of that you sort of conveyed to this group in this meeting?
Yeah, I mean, Amelia is particularly concerned at the fetishes that we found that have like dark images, and she wants to investigate.
I also think Jackaroo would caution from like I don't think he's particularly bright, but I think when it comes to military, he's like, it seems like the fact that they weren't there when we did our loop in the forest where you rode me like a pony around the perimeter, and we couldn't find evidence that the soldiers hung around. I think that's something that Jackaroo would probably have cautioned the group. Like he's like, I am not in charge. I do not make those choices, but I trust and I would like to offer my opinion. Please, I don't think we should tell them about the Beastmen. Simply that we got delayed and a little lost and maybe turned back.
I think it's like the ship kind of sails on that because there's 12 people that were with you that are kind of like, even if you've asked them to sort of like maybe keep it under their hat, like word spreads.
That's true. But I don't think we should be openly talking about it.
But you don't need to give
I would only talk to like the people in charge, the Hammer, and
but you're sort of keeping it sort of light on detail.
Yeah, for sure.
Yeah, okay, that's fine. I mean, you know, you do work for a secret service, so it's not untoward to sort of keep it under your hat. So
what service?
What
giant clockwork centaur?
So you don't need to sort of tell them that like you don't sort of give them too much information. You sort of give them the bare bones. As I said, like mostly like Morana does kind of like dominate the conversation because she is just furious, and she's mostly just really going in onto Reginald about like, you know, how is this, you know, this is your fault, you're the one, this is an area you're responsible for, and he's giving all kinds of excuses about how their focus was to the north. They had Woad bandits, they had all their information said that if there were beastmen, they were to the northwest, not to the east at all, and they hadn't had any word that there was something going on in the area that Dewhurst is in. They've not got any information about that, so it hadn't been a priority, and he's doing a lot of like, it's not my fault kind of thing. But ultimately, you are just sort of left to your own devices. But at some point, Aurum would find you. Now, Steve, you are taking the mantle of Aurum. What has made you want to join these three? I'm assuming you were canny enough to work out that there was more to it, and that they're probably still going to do some stuff. So I'm just curious, what was that? What was the thing that triggered you?
Yeah, well, Aurum's all about the Glorious Crusade and killing the Beastmen, and he has in his life encountered people who are in the armed forces or the church who are not entirely on board with actually doing their job and their duty. It happens. You try to ignore them, but you have to sometimes, put them in prison or whatever. Kill them for being heretics. So he's got the sense that, not sure exactly to what level, but it sounds like these guys are either, at very least, extremely cowardly and incompetent, the people who went with them, or actually doing something nefarious and evil and need to be rooted out. And there's a limit to how much. He's a young guy who likes to have initiative. It's not like he's going to take it straight up the chain and go fix this. He's like, right, show me where these bad guys are. Let's figure out what's going on. Did the guards that went with them vanish? They didn't come back?
It was sort of, so they were, so Jamie, you can go.
Yeah, well, what we found was that, they'd made fake noises of being attacked, and there were just tracks of them leading back to the village. Back
to Dewhurst. They didn't come back to the convoy.
Yeah.
Right.
No, so they weren't part of the convoy. They were the local guard of Dewhurst who'd taken over because they handed us off to them.
Yep. Oh, okay.
Which was apparently a common, what was not, that was just how it would work, because Dewhurst wasn't exactly on their normal path of travel. They sort of, so they would often hand off to the town guard, and that was, so everyone was like, yeah, that's fine. But then, obviously, it wasn't.
Well, that's certainly. So they're not part of his personal league, but on the other hand, there's these paperwork discrepancies. So probably the source of the mystery is in Dewhurst. But he can't just necessarily, as a crusader, just go, I'm going to Dewhurst for a while. So, but free agents can do that sort of thing and might need an escort. So he's sort of going to be hovering around and listening to that, just sort of standing near the door a lot, going, what are they doing? I wonder if they're going anywhere, kind of thing.
Is it the sort of thing where it's like you try and make it so it comes, you nudge the command so that command feels like it's their idea, but you're like, maybe, and then maybe I go with them, and it's an official thing now. Yeah. Okay.
So he's sort of gone like, I'm just going to go on reconnaissance with those guys and see if we can find out more about this. But he's also, I think he's like, he doesn't want to just go and just go, hey, can I go with you guys? So he's kind of looking for that opportunity.
You're standing around us like,
yeah. What are you guys doing? Are you going back to the village?
I do like this image of Aurum being like, on the one hand, he's this sort of this crusader who's this hardened soldier, but on the other hand, he's also an awkward teenager. Kind of like the guy at the party being like, hey, what are you guys talking about? Can I join? Awesome.
You're in a gang.
Damn it. Awesome. I think, given that you've sort of managed to convince, between you sort of managing to convince the command that it was kind of their idea, and Reginald sort of wanting to try and appear like he's doing something, you have managed to get a few sort of token bits of gear to sort of help you out. So if you look at their character sheets, they'll see that some things have been updated a little bit. It's mostly, and it's not that even that much. Like, you already had gear for one thing, but like, you know, they've given a bigger shield to Jackaroo. They've, you know, given a nicer weapon to maybe to Sly. And although, to be fair, I with Sly, I don't know if he asked or he was given. That might have just been like, hey, that's nice.
That's where he went when we didn't see him last week. He was like acquiring all these items on our behalf.
He just did a
I thought the equipment wagon.
Look at all these shiny things I found. Oh, thank you.
Surely we deserve it. No.
Fantastic. So after this, you are able to sort of, you head back from the East Keep to the area of forest that you had gone into when you were supposed to be heading towards Dewhurst. This sort of whole back and forth has taken about a fortnight by this point. Just in the time it took to walk and then walk back, and then all the stuff in the middle. So, but we do sort of find these four standing in front of this forest, and something that Aurum won't know because he wasn't here last time, but the other three might notice is that there's the depth of feel of the forest is different from when you were here before. It's like it's now just darker. It feels like the trees are closer together. Everything just feels a bit more ominous and enclosed, and you have this, just as soon as you step through into the forest, it just feels like there's this weight coming down on you that wasn't really there before, and just this sort of just putting you ill at ease, essentially. But what do you want to do?
Is this about where you did the handover? That's what or are we further in, or is this where the beast?
This was where you entered the forest. It wasn't. They walked into the forest a little ways before. They did the handover near the bridge, what's known as the span, which is crossing the so essentially a bit of a sort of like geography, I guess. To the east is what they call the gorge, and the only way across the gorge, which divides Tyr and the Holy Kingdom, is a large bridge known as the span. And so at the other end of once you crossed this bridge, that's roughly when you met these people from Dewhurst, and they took you up. And so there's the forest, which is close to the northern end of the gorge. And as far as you understand, Dewhurst is basically nestled almost like between this forest and the gorge itself, next to a sort of like a lake. And so you've reached the forest, and they walked you a ways in before getting to a clearing. So it's not difficult if you've wanted to head back to that clearing to find it. Like you're all able to do that without problem. Should that be what you want to do?
Do we think that there is use in re-exploring the area we were attacked, or should we immediately make our way to the town?
Well, I would say we actually already dealt with that area, but perhaps it would be good to skirt where we were attacked rather than cross directly through it.
Yeah, that makes sense. Can I, not that I have great perception, look for traces of beastmen and other dark monsters, since I have a little bit of experience with such things?
Yeah, make a perception roll.
Yeah.
First roll of the game, no pressure.
Oh,
we do it.
Wait, no, that's because I rolled Banes before we started the thing.
Yeah, that's fine. You rolled a 17. You should be.
Yeah, so 16
normally.
Yeah,
so that's fine. Well, I'm happy. We can. Yeah, so I was like 9 to 6. The hell's going? All right, no. Yes, boons and banes. No, yeah. So you do find there's definitely signs of of beastmen. You find more of these these almost like crude fetishes. They are all on this vague theme of a sort of like a vertical oval with a circle in the middle. And they're all on variations of that. And they ask it as you sort of like, because you're skirting the area that you found them, it does sort of feel like these fetishes have been set up as like a wide perimeter around that clearing. And there's definitely been, not necessarily recent, but maybe in the last week, there's been a lot of movement through here, and you're finding like signs of that it was beastmen.
Orem, darling, these are the fetishes and imagery I was telling you about. It is very worrying.
Can I tell if they're made by beastmen compared to if they're made by humans? Like, is there a level of craftsmanship or difference like that?
I mean, it's more like like the idea of beastmen making things is more of a sort of a surprise, but like it's kind of like either like it's of a level that's like, yeah, beastmen can sort of probably do sort of crude stuff, and this is pretty crude, but humans can as well. So sure. It's not distinctly one or the other, but it's definitely so.
Are there few? I'm going to start cutting them down and smashing them with my boot. Unless they're cut into trees. If they're made out of wood and twigs, then I'm going to smash them.
Some like most of them are like a made thing that have been sort of like hung, but you do occasionally find something where they've just carved the image into a tree. But yeah, you can definitely. They're not sturdy or anything. You can start breaking them.
I think
destroy the
stuck even like just part that's like.
Stamp his hooves on him.
Yeah, and it's like you can scratch the ones on trees. You can just scratch off as well. I mean, you've all got like
scratch them off with a knife and go. Yep.
Yeah.
I
Definitely.
like your style.
You do start noticing because that this as you continue round you sort of realize that the tracks that you notice, these old sort of beastman tracks, they aren't coming from the direction that the group you met when you were last here came from, but they do seem to be going in the direction of Dewhurst.
Sounds like it's riddled with beastmen. We should go to Dewhurst and purge it immediately.
Are we purging the whole town or just the beastmen?
We will purge the beastmen and anyone else who's a bit shifty.
I just play it by ear.
Yeah, anyone who isn't in line with the new god gets purged.
I think at that point Jackaroos a bit like, I appreciate your stance on this, but can we agree just to go after the beastmen for now, please? I wasn't built for overall purging.
All the non-cult members in the group suddenly just like,
we're like,
maybe we refine those criteria a little bit better. We just
we must do that work. The work of the new god.
The question is also if any of or all of the town were helping these beastmen in their attacks, and why?
Because they've sold their souls to the demon lord, probably. But we'll go and find out. With sword and flame if need be. This way! I charge up into the wilderness.
I feel like Jackaroos like, are we sure that our room is all stable?
It's like when you've got this new friend and then you sort of go around to their place and you're like, oh, they're so much weirder than I thought. Oh no! What have I done?
Clarify? Is Sword and Flame Plan A or B?
Plan A. Burn them first, ask them questions later.
Yeah. Orum's college application actually had Inquisitors as the first preference and Hammers of Justice as the second one, and he's always been a bit bitter about it.
Yeah, he's always just trying to bring it in.
It's like, nah, man.
We can discuss along the way. Who would like to ride on my back in order to keep pace?
Who, me?
Alright.
I want to turn.
I'm giving pony rides. I'm living my dreams.
Yeah, it's really awkward when Drakaroo says that, though. It's like...
Why? Because I'm a highly skilled lover?
Yeah, exactly. Actually,
I had totally
100%.
forgotten that Jackaroo was a sophisticated sex robot.
Yeah, that's it. With a fucking sword arm.
Centaur sex robot. Thank you very much. Who at some point welded a sword to his arm for reasons.
I'm sure he can add other options, though, can't he? Can he have other attachments?
I'm sure if we meet my maker, we could discuss that.
That's probably that's a question for a different type of campaign.
Yeah.
So to skip ahead and to change the subject, that was my fault to come in to begin with. You continue on breaking these profane idols and whatnot, and you start to come across what would appear to be the approach to Dewhurst. And as you do, it does.
Yeah.
Sorry, but I was talking over. What did you say?
Sorry. The forest is thinning out, and there's more fields or something. Yeah.
Yeah. Now the Dewhurst was mainly a livestock farm community. So you are passing a couple of these fields that have been cleared and go along the river. But I would like you to make perception rolls if you could.
Oh, because that's what I'm really good at, perceiving things. I'm a sex horse. I don't look, I do.
Sex horse!
Yep, I definitely do. I got a 2.
I got a 1.
That's an odd.
A 19.
Ooh, sly. It's because you're not walking, you're riding me. You can give all your focus.
So, Sly's the only one to actually notice this. But it becomes increasingly apparent that you've not seen any people. That there are these fields. There are still sheep and goats. But as you approach, there's no signs of people.
Look, self-tending farms.
The way of the future.
I'm just like, ooh, fancy.
Ooh. Oh, yeah, we're just like, ooh.
That was the takeaway I was trying to get there. Yes, definitely.
Actually, well, that's a good question. Are we talking about no one's gone out to till the fields, or is there a plow with no one working it? Not automatically, but does it look abandoned versus nobody's come out here for a while? I
don't know of any. I think
does it look like the rapture happened?
One of you.
Yeah.
So, the only one of you who really has any kind of experience with livestock is Jackaroo. So Jackaroo, because of your experience as a drover, you definitely recognize that it's not only that they aren't really people there, it doesn't look like there's been people for at least a few days.
Yeah, okay.
No one's come out to tend to the livestock. They would have likely wanted to bring out some sort of feed to sort of supplement, like hay or other sort of forms, and that's all of like the feeding sort of troughs and whatnot. Stations are empty, so there's no one doing that, and so all of the sort of little details. The animals are still there.
Oh, okay.
But the it doesn't look like they've been tended to in at least like maybe a few days, maybe a week.
I'm gonna turn to my fellows and be like, "This is unusual for tending land. Should we go and investigate a farmhouse, perhaps? See if somebody left in a hurry or left a note, or some chicken feed? Because I feel bad for those chickens."
Yes.
All of this is
yes, I agree.
Suspicious.
Technically, look, I'm going to make this up, even if it isn't true. Crusaders must be given quarter in any house if they demand it. So I'm going to go into a farmhouse and just knock on the door.
There is no answer.
I'm going to tentatively trot up behind you and be like, "Shall I cut open the door?"
Is there a window or something?
Yeah.
No, I'm just gonna. Oh, so I'll look in the window. I'm also calling out, going, greetings to you from the God of the new church. Hail and hardiness be upon you. Nobody there. Yeah. Can't see anyone in the window.
There's no one. There's no sign of any of people, and as you look closer, there is sort of like, again, looks like there hasn't been people in the house for at least a few days, if not like a week.
Can we push the doors open then and have a closer look?
Yeah.
Yeah. So the animals haven't been fed for what, a week? You said.
Well, there's still grass and whatnot, but like they usually would be supplemented, and so you can see like near the house there is like a store of like feed and hay and whatnot, and that is untended.
I think Jackaroo's going to go over and start spreading the feed around and replenishing all the feed buckets in the nearby stead, if he's able to access it.
Yeah, the sheep come over and they're but they've been able to, but they do seem to, there's a bit of like they rush. They're like, "Oh, good, yes.
This is what we're waiting for."
So,
Yeah.
You get swarmed by sheep. Take 3d6 damage. No, that's. They're sheep, not chickens.
Oh, okay. Yes, sheep.
Yeah,
I think he
they're
still
very
calls
grateful,
them
but
chickens.
Okay.
I'm going to just sort of take out my sword. My maul, and just kind of, I'm putting things for chaos, and not chaos, that's Warhammer. Dark magic and evil. So I'm just sort of running around, poking my mace into things, flipping things over and going. Checking for demons hiding under the floor or be under furniture and stuff.
Yeah. There's no, as far as you can tell, the religious, icons that you find are all of the new god, the Ouroboros and things like that.
No signs of blood.
No,
that's what I'm looking for, or dead bodies, severed limbs, anything like that.
No, make a perception check.
I surely will. Well, there we go. That's good. A 17.
You do notice that it does look like there's like a coat rack for when they would be going out near the door, and there's that's empty, that's bare. So potentially whoever was here had left at some point and just hasn't come back.
Can you remind me how quickly spells come back? Is it once per day, sort of thing?
After you take a rest, you then can spend, I think, like a minute just either praying or going over your spell book, depending on how you access your magic. So I imagine praying for you, and you get all of your castings back. And then Aurum also has an ability. I'm just going to double check.
Yeah, I can get him back in as an action. Yeah.
Yeah, all the classes get like a health recovery ability, and yours, you're a slight variant on the warrior. Warrior's health recovery is usually they can use it as a action or a triggered action, so they can do it a bit quicker. But yours is an action, but you also get a casting, one of your expended castings back when you heal. So that's how you would get your spells back.
Cool. I won't use a spell at this point though.
That's okay.
I'll say, looks like they've all gone probably off to worship dark gods in the forest or something. Heard about this happening. We should head into the center of town and see if we can find any survivors or non-heretics.
Okay, I think it's a little hard to pry Jackaroo away from his sheep chicken.
So town equals good, woods equals evil.
Pretty much.
Okay.
That's like
just to know what we're working with here.
Like that's like a physical feeling you're actually getting at this point. Like as you get closer to town, that sort of like that heavy vibe is like lessening to an extent, though it's not going
Don't
away.
dance in the forest, children.
I was raised in the United States where like every meter beyond the actual fortress you go, your chance of being murdered doubles, sort of thing. So
when Crusader parents tell their children that monsters are going to come into their bed if they're naughty, they're actually not kidding. They're that is a serious threat. But you can make your way into the city. And the town. But yeah, as you approach, it's very clear that the town has been attacked.
Oh, that's bad.
So there's definitely
fire
signs
and
of
sword. Or
I think fire and sword got here before we did.
There's definitely like things have been broken and smashed, and like there's just a lot of property damage. You do now actually see blood.
Any corpses are also important
against like walls. You do not see corpses.
I see. My spell. Let me just say, I've got a spell that lets me look for life things. I'm just going to see how long it lasts.
I want to say a minute.
It does last for a minute. So as I walk around the town, I'm going to cast Life Sense. Hold out my holy symbol and a sphere with a 5-yard radius centered on a point. Yeah, which is my holy thing. Locations of any living creatures in the area that cannot hide. Sorry, they cannot hide. And they cannot become hidden during the duration, So I'm just kind of doing a sweep.
Yeah. Most places you sort of go, there's nothing registers. Then you get to there's one house, one building at least in just off the town center that you do get a ping, and there is one living thing somewhere in that building, or within the building. You know exactly where, but it's inside the building.
Yeah. So what sort of building is it? Sorry, is it a house or is it?
It looks like it's someone's place of business, but it's also where they live. So it looks like it's a sort of like a general store house, essentially.
Yeah. Okay.
Yeah.
Yeah.
God.
All right. Again, I will pound on the door and say, "Hail to thee in the name of the new god."
Oh Jesus! I love you have like the tact and stealth of a fucking door-to-door evangelist.
Make a will roll. For your force of personality.
So wait, are the three of us just standing like 40 feet back, like?
Yeah, I definitely pulled Sly aside and been like, it is a blunt instrument we have brought with us, but perhaps it is what we need to root out the evil.
I love it.
Initiative is that?
Orm, I think, has never really met anyone who's been particularly critical of his lifestyle. So, he's just like, everyone likes the new god. Everyone likes me. It's all good.
Yeah,
Oh god, I love him. Oh, I love him.
He was very popular where he grew up.
Yeah.
Where he grew up was weird. So yeah, you do start hearing some sort of movement. You hear something gets knocked over. There's a bit of a clattering, and then very slowly this door sort of opens just a crack, and you can see someone looking through. And they're just sort of like, you're with the new god?
Shit, it worked.
Nice. I am Orm of the Hammers of Justice, and you are safe now. Is he opening it inwards? Or is it
yes.
push? Either way, I'm going to sort of just push through my hand and lay my hand on his shoulder.
You are now safe!
Yeah. You are safe now. The servants of God are here to protect you from the beastmen.
You're safe, whether you like it or not. You just bowl this person over, and you see this sort of middle-aged man who looks terrible. He clearly hasn't like bathed in a while, and like he smells. His like there's just like his hair is just matted against his head. He's dirty. He's probably at some point like soiled himself and hasn't done anything about it. And he's just sort of a wreck. And he's just sort of, when you knock him over, he's just like lying on the ground, sort of stunned for a bit. He doesn't even really protect himself or try to stop like you from doing anything. He's just completely given up.
Oh. So did you say he's fallen to the floor?
Well, yeah, you sort of like as you sort of come in, he sort of jumps back in surprise and like trips and falls, and he just sort of like curls up and.
I'll wave to the others and say, is there a rain barrel or somewhere around here, or a water trough that I can throw him into to wake him up a bit and clean him off?
Yeah, that'd be something.
Oh my god, you're gonna waterboard him?
No, I'm just gonna go. Oh, come on, friend. Have strength. Have faith.
I'm just standing off for him. He's definitely got a style.
I'm not sure that is a good thing.
He's very enthusiastic about his job. It does start like this does kind of like to an extent. I mean, dunking this guy's head in water, he sort of does kind of snap him out of his fugue. And he starts spluttering. He's like coughing, and but does actually look better. Vaguely cleaner around the face area.
I'm saying, tell us what happened here.
He's upon like that, he sort of starts almost shaking again. He's like, we were attacked about 4, maybe 5 days ago. I don't remember.
Attacked by what, darling?
Beastmen. They fell.
And where were your town guards?
They were here. They tried to protect us, but they were taken. Even the ones that were killed were taken.
How did you survive?
He just looks a bit ashamed. He's like, I hid.
Smart.
I heard the screams, and violence, and I hid. I didn't, and I couldn't go out. I couldn't do anything to help them.
It is all right,
did
friend.
Did you see where they went? In which direction?
No, but I when they arrived, when they came from the east. He sort of points vaguely in that sort of direction. I was hiding. I didn't see them when they left. Even when it went silent, I couldn't bring myself to leave. I've been in that little nook since then. I only just came out when your friend told me that he was with the new god.
Have I heard of beastmen taking people before? Is that regular behavior? Don't they normally just murder everybody?
It's a bit of like, it's like usually, but they also, they need to eat. And so some of the better organized beastmen tribes recognize that if you don't kill everyone, then you'll have food later.
All right.
And you can kind of keep, you can eat the dead ones and then, kill the other ones slowly and eat them then.
Right. Fantastic.
I wanna like come right up to this guy, and when Amelia gets close to someone, there's sort of like this overwhelming smell of like spices mixed with like decaying flowers, and it's not an entirely pleasant thing. And up close you can see just like how dark set and sunken her eyes are, and she just like looks deep into this guy's eyes and she says, "Tell me the truth now. Did this village have an agreement with the beastmen to hand over refugees?"
He's like, "What refugee? What refugee? We someone.
People have been going missing here for months.
We haven't received any refugees.
Exactly." And I just turn around and start walking off to the east.
Having said that,
sure.
Make an intelligence roll with a boon.
Okay, so I roll the boon, and then so I've got +6. That's pretty good. All right, here's my intel. 25.
Yeah. He's lying. He is.
Yeah,
and
so I start walking off.
He wasn't before, but like this is like no. That was crap. What he just said.
Yeah, I start walking off, and over my shoulder I just say, "He's lying. You can kill him."
Awesome.
I think, and then Jackaroo is like, "That is sad," and like raises his sword, but kind of looks like everyone like, "Do I have to?"
Like as soon as you say that, the guy like just falls to his knees, screaming. He's like, "No, please don't kill me!"
I'm certainly.
No, tell the truth then.
Yeah, I'm hefting my mace. It's like, have you made a pact with the Dark Ones? Tell the truth.
Now,
and
look,
die
friend.
with your soul cool.
Obviously, we're some very zealous people here, so maybe it's time to just tell the truth and we won't have to brutally murder you in the street.
And he sort of just slumps, and he's like, "Okay, we'd been attacked maybe two years ago. The beastmen came. They were raiding. They took livestock. They took people. We didn't know what to do. We couldn't. Our guards weren't. We're farmers. What guards we have are just. Well, they're also farmers. We're not trained for anything. we tried to send word that we were being attacked to the keeps, but no one came. No one came to help. And then one day, this beastman came, and it was different from the others. It had a staff with skulls on it. It seemed to be a leader, and it spoke our language, and it told us that they would stop attacking if we simply handed over a few people every now and again. We just selected who would go, and they would stop.
Oh, so they were farmers as well.
Kind of. He's
farmers of evil.
That was he's just like it's a deep cut, I guess, but at the same time he's at a point where it doesn't matter. He can't go lower. Yeah. And he goes, and he's like, but how do you pick who goes? And then we were approached a year ago by a representative of the new god, and they asked if we could take refugees.
The perfect solution to your terrible problem. I abhor thee.
But did you not think they would be in pain if you handed them over? Did you not care that your friends, your kin, your own species would be slaughtered?
They weren't our kin. Our kin are here, and no one came to protect us. So we had to protect ourselves.
I see. I am still learning these things. Okay, maybe we should kill him. He seems kind of heartless.
I'd put my mate on the bridge of his nose, and say, "Where are they?"
We never. They always came to us from the east, near towards the gorge. And they hadn't attacked us, but they came and they took everyone.
I'm going to say, may the new god forgive you, and crush his skull with my maul. Unless anyone stops me.
Oh, I totally swing out my shield. Jackaroo can't. No, he's too I think he goes, I was kidding. I was just trying to intimidate. Please, he is soft. He is squishy. We don't hurt the squishies.
He has committed great sins against his people and others.
Oh, but he was scared. I think I pet him with my sword arm on his head. Poor little squishy. He was so scared.
I think the compromise we could come to is that he comes with us and helps rescue all of his countryfolk.
You can ride on my butt. and burn him at the stake.
Yeah.
Oh god,
I mean, if it comes to that.
I mean, you can definitely he's not going to resist. He's broken and defeated, but in the same for those very reasons, he doesn't look like he'd be also much use.
Yeah, but we could bind his hands and just drape him over your butt, so he can't run away.
Or just to the side, Sly will say to Orm, or perhaps just as bait.
Yeah, bait I like. I like bait. I'm going to look. I'm only happy with us not killing him if he's our prisoner. So I'm going to bind his hands and feet so that he can come with us as a prisoner.
Very well. Shall we bind him hand and feet over my backside so he is like hugging me?
Yep. It's called riding.
Yep.
Anything for a hug.
Yeah, there's no resistance. He just he's at this point he's, you know, the weight of everything he's done and this town has done is just sort of like cascading over him, and he's just done. So whatever you want, he you know, if you bind his hands, you toss him over Jackaroo's back. Yeah, that all happens.
Sweet.
In the meantime, I was hoping that I could head to the east side of town where he mentioned that they ran off, or that they came from, and just start looking for any sort of trail or tracks that lead in that direction.
It's very obvious. There was it was clearly a lot of there was a big like pack just stampeding through. They were not subtle, so you can definitely find those tracks.
Do the tracks give an indication of number of them? Are we talking about a dozen or 50?
Not closer to it'd be closer to a dozen than to 50, but it is just like, I mean, beastmen don't like walk in like rank and file. They're just there's this herd that just sort of rushes forward as a group, and essentially just like swarms over. Particularly the ones you saw last time, the sort of lesser beastmen. They're generally, as you saw when you fought them in the clearing, kind of cowardly. So they do like to just clump up in numbers and just rush people. So it was definitely a decent group, but it's very difficult to tell exact numbers. But it wasn't, closer to a dozen than 50, definitely.
Awesome. Let's get after them. Every second
majestically follow.
Every second that they are in insult.
I presume I was correct about the villagers cooperating with the beastmen.
That seems to be what he said,
I'll be,
sorry, we're catching you up. I see, yep.
Oh, that's right, she's ahead.
Oh, right, yes.
Yep.
Amelia, you are so clever. How did you know? I really wish I could understand human minds. Very intricate.
Looks at the tied up guy on your back, and it's like,
That's right.
So very complex.
This mastermind of deceit that you've managed to trap. So as you make your way through, again, once you sort of go back into the forest, that feeling of like dread does again come over. It never completely went away, even when you're in the town, but it does get heavier, and it does feel like it's getting heavier still as you continue on this path. It's like as you're getting closer as you backtrack the direction that the beastmen have gone, it does get more and more prominent. It's almost like it's almost like a bad taste that you're feeling with your body.
Oh God, really? That's your description?
Yeah. No, I want to be clear. It's awful. It's notably awful.
I would like to cast Life Sense again, so I can see if anyone sneaks up to me at least for a minute.
Yeah,
and
I mean,
only when it gets close.
You don't feel, and no one tries to sneak up on you or anything, but you do come across a kind of a cave, so sort of a cave, but it is also just more just like, it's not like in the side of a mountain or something. It just seems to be like this hole, the ground, there's like a hole that sort of goes down. And you are like at this point like within sight of the gorge when you see it. There's this entranceway that sort of goes down, and probably is alongside the gorge. And there is like, for people who have like gone exploring, there's definitely signs that of past occupation in the gorge, within the gorge, but like not for a while, so it is potentially this is like an old place that the Beastmen have discovered and repurposed.
Okay.
Yeah.
And it's
I like. Sorry, go ahead.
Well, I was gonna say it would have been not impossible, but definitely trickier to find the entrance if you weren't just following this, this group of Beastmen who clearly weren't putting any effort into hiding their tracks.
Yeah, I look at the group and I say, everybody make sure to secure your gear. The last thing we want if we are going delving is to drop things or push up against things and make too much noise.
Yeah, I suggest we leave our prisoner here as well. Oh yeah, is the encounter going to... I looked down at Jackaroo and going, how equipped are you for going into tunnels, my horsey friend?
Well, tunnels are fine as long as we don't hit too much water. Then I'm quite heavy, and it'll be a swift sink. But as long as how wide is the tunnel? I should say, like if it's a tunnel.
Yeah, okay.
Jagger's probably pretty fucking tall. Well, I mean, he's like what? He's not that tall. He's like 6.
He's not that tall. It's more that he's big. He's like 6 foot. He's 6 foot tall, but also like 6 foot long as well.
Well, as long as nobody gets too close to my back end without my permission.
That's a good motto for life.
Yeah. I want to make sure consent is key for this. Clockwork Centaur. Consent is key.
I have some experience in these things. If we're required to rig up some ropes to make sure we can get to across water, I have some experience.
Amelia, you are amazing. You really blow my mind. You know people lie, you can make rope things. Very impressive.
Haha! Amazing!
She just like... Yeah. Okay. Eyes on the job, everybody.
Like she's like, don't look at me.
Is it dark in there? Do we need torches? I guess if it's going beyond our sight, we will.
It does seem to quickly get dark, but it never gets like pitch black. It's always kind of more shadowy. So, anyone who has shadow sight would be
shadow
fine.
sight and dark sight?
So I think that's.
I do, I believe.
And obviously, and dark sight would obviously will be more than fine. But
I have shadow sight.
It's not with the other. If you don't have those, you would still be able to see. It's sort of like you have like penalties to perception and that sort of thing.
Yeah. Which I think is what I'm looking at. I don't seem to have shadow sight or dark sight.
Yeah, beyond the abilities.
Yeah.
I actually grew up delving through caves like this. If you want me to go first, I am pretty good at seeing in the dark.
Fantastic. You're the character in the TV series that just every episode is like, oh yeah, I did this. I did this as well.
She's the Deus Ex Machina of our team.
I totally, because I didn't make this character, Sam did.
Yeah.
I've like every time we come up against something, I'm like, oh, I have this other thing written.
I have this great skill.
To be fair, I also randomly made these characters. I didn't specifically make them for anything.
You didn't make a giant clockwork sex horse? Like, that wasn't
Weirdly,
intentional? Come on.
That wasn't a conscious choice that I made. That was
just a happy accident.
I know.
And that's the beauty of random systems. All right. I think we might need a torch. Some of us can't see in the dark though, so we might
Me.
need a torch.
Do you have like torches or lanterns or anything like that?
I have a lantern you can use if you like.
Oh, there we go. Okay. Yeah. All right. I'll carry a lantern. Hang on. Is my maul two-handed? I'll drop the lantern when things happen.
Yes.
Oh, we'll hang it off.
Great.
We'll hang it off the horse. Centaur.
You
I think
totally
everyone
can. I mean,
should
like,
have at least a couple of torches in their possession.
yes, I don't have it currently listed in this trade over, but I remember I did have it on the other, so I'm pretty sure
I think
I've definitely
What was
got
that?
one.
I think if
It's
you
probably
look
in my
your
backpack.
It's
Okay, yeah.
If you look in the backpack or in your
Oh, you're right.
like an
Wait.
adventure kit or something like that.
It says backpack. I'm just I can't see.
So there should be like a
Not all
click on the star.
the carried over.
It opens that up, and you
Yeah, there's
see,
nothing currently in there. But it's alright. I'll say
Yeah, I
for the
think
sake of this. I mean, if you don't mind me saying, I have a torch. I have one at least.
Yeah, I mean, I also definitely have this lantern, which I don't
Isn't-
need, so I can give it to you.
Just quickly, Ree, when you look at the backpack and you open up the backpack stuff, it doesn't show you any.
It just I clicked on the star, comes up backpack, and it says notes, and it's currently empty.
Yeah, same.
All right. I put the information in the wrong place then. Good to know.
Yeah, my adventure comes up empty as well. But
okay. What I thought was the area for information, I guess, is like probably like GM notes or something, because it comes up for me. I can definitely see your stuff.
Oh, okay. All right. Well, no stress. Do I have a torch?
Yeah, I think
if you got getting by or higher, you have 1d3 torches at character generation.
Okay, cool.
Yeah.
If you're poor, you have like a candle. But I think we've got a few
sure
torches between us.
everyone got torches, and basically because you're supplied by the compact, you've essentially by.
Yeah, cool.
So, right, I'm just going to quickly. So, please feel free to keep going and entering this thing. I'm just relocating some of this information.
Yeah. Well,
I'm going to make a cup of tea before we go into the dark. Sorry.
That's okay.
Hey.
But given that Sly and I can relatively well see in the dark, I can see quite well. And I would suggest that we just like travel a little bit ahead of the other two so that the light doesn't give off, give advance warning of us.
Yes,
Sure,
good
yeah,
plan.
Do anything in the
That
cave.
definitely sounds like a good idea. So you enter this this cave, and you sort of you're making your way down. It does seem to be going. It's angled downwards, so you're sort of going progressively deeper. But you eventually come across a crossroad against it. One going to the left and another one going off to the right. So
Let's split up. Scream if you find something.
Let's instead stick together and go to the left.
I like your plan, but I'm going to modify it a little bit. by
Yeah,
not
just
doing
slightly.
I see. All right.
Yeah, that's,
I am not in
so
opposition. Let's go to the left.
Fine. Left it is.
You continue on for a little ways, and you're still with the two with the special vision going on ahead.
Yeah.
Then the others. Yeah. So you sort of going a ways in, and then it kind of turns a corner to a bit, and then as you both round the corner, I'm going to need both of you to make a will save with a bane.
Uh-oh, SpaghettiOs.
Just some normal, hideous human torture or something.
I don't suppose my occult academic profession allows me to cancel out this bane in any way.
It does not, no.
Alright,
Oh my god, what did they see? I need to know. Ah!
will do it. It's not good.
Oh, that is not good.
Sly handled it much better than Amelia. Amelia.
Amelia.
From what you've seen as you've come around this corner, and it is quite dark. So Amelia, you see this immediately, because whereas for Sly it took a little bit longer to sort of notice. But essentially, strung up along the ceiling of this particular section of cave are just rows of corpses, and they all appear to have been sort of hung up and kind of like bled, essentially, as if you're preparing an animal for butchering. They've been strung up and they've been allowed to bleed, and looks like they've just been. It definitely, you get that immediate sense that they weren't dead when that happened.
Yeah.
And so the horror of that just sort of washes over you, Amelia, and you add a point of insanity to your character.
Okay.
And you are afraid for a short period.
Yeah. How does insanity work? Because
so insanity, and it's a good time to talk about that. We haven't actually had anyone gain insanity. So when you gain insanity, you are then afraid for a number of rounds equal to your new insanity score. And then should your insanity score ever equal your will, then you you kind of go crazy, which has you'll roll on a table, and it has anything from just immediately dying to coming to a sort of like a personal revelation, which allows you to sort of resist insanity in the future. So it's a wide range of.
So they're not all bad.
Cool.
I think it's like I think it's a D20 roll, and from memory, if you're rolling like an 18 or above, it's not terrible, and anything below that is just degrees of bad. And then at which point, then like after you sort of do whatever the madness result is, you lose a couple of like a D6 plus something. I think it's D6 plus will, your will modifier in insanity. And there's other ways to deal with it before it gets to that point, but yeah.
My insanity score is now 4. So
yeah. Amelia's seen some stuff.
Oh, Amelia's fucking crazy.
So I think Amelia like immediately sort of like staggers to her knees and puts her hand out to the wall, and she's just like, "Lord and Lady, protect us. This is a house of death." And she says it like way louder than she should too.
And I want to push forward.
Sly's just gonna walk forward and like examine the bodies to see if there's like is like the blood being captured, like how sophisticated is this butchery?
It looks like it was like there's not like containers there now, but it looks like that when it was done there probably was, but it was sort of like a little ad hoc, so there's definitely there's dried blood all over the place.
Yeah.
And mess. And then there's a few spaces that are now empty. That clearly were holding people, but now have been taken down. And it's sort of like a sort of quick count also means that this is clearly not the total number of people from, even including the number of people that like the empty spaces. This wouldn't be the full number from the town. Though to be fair, your prisoner did tell you that some people were definitely killed, and those you would assume were eaten sooner. So these are definitely the survivors.
Can those of us at the back push forward and witness this sight now?
Yes.
When Amelia was cursing, I was like, What is it? Oh God!
You will also need to make a will save, but you get a boon rather than a bane because you are slightly more prepared than the other two were.
All right, me as well.
If you decide to come around and look at this, yes.
I think I definitely would, hearing her cry out. I'm very, like, I will save you.
I got an 18.
With a bane? Sorry, with a boon?
No, yeah. Given that you have the ability to brace yourself for whatever is seen, because you've seen the reaction from the other two.
Okay. Rolled my boon. Nice. And now roll this. Oh, yeah, 24.
You're both like, you're not, it's okay is the wrong word, but not, the sight doesn't fray your sanity. So,
That's good.
Degrees of, it's relatively better.
I think Jackaroo wants to check on Amelia if she's like still leaning against the thing, and he's just gonna be like, "Are you all right? Do you need some water?" And he's like looking at his pack and like hanging on his side, and he's got his sword arm and his shield. He's like, "Oh, not again, damn it." He's like,
I'll pass my holy symbol to Amelia and go, "Here, hold on to this for courage. And think of the new god."
What is it that you're holding out?
Oh, it's the symbol. It's one of the symbols. It's like a brass ring about this big that's in a Ouroboros.
Yeah,
but it's holy symbol.
It's the symbol of the new god.
Yep.
She looks up at it and you and says, "Your god has no power here. We should not have come. It was a mistake."
I'm just going to quickly interrupt. We have just received from Jorian Drake, just donated enough to give us a pet.
Well, hey!
Oh no!
like
the best moment too.
What pet are we going to find in this carnage house?
At some point within this group, there is going to be a pet. It's a specific pet.
Ooh.
That they have gifted you, and that will appear at some stage. So brace yourselves for that.
Okay.
Awesome.
Alright. So braced.
I would like
so I
to
look
set
up
for...
at you and...
Oh, yeah.
Go ahead, sorry.
Sorry. Yeah, my god. If he has no power here, then we will cleanse this place until there is nothing left. And I like to use the torches to burn the corpses if they're not too wet. Oh, is there any way out of this room? Like, is it dead end?
I was gonna be like,
this is definitely a dead end. It looks like it's been repurposed as a kind of a storage, butcher area.
I feel like I'd be
meat
worried about
locker.
ventilation, but I'm a clockwork construct, so I don't think Jack's probably just like, eh.
I mean,
Yeah, I think
remember
as
you
Mr. Fire walks forward, Sly's just going to slowly back out of the room.
Yeah.
Yeah, I'll follow Sly out and say, "Blunt as he may be, I think it is right to return these people to the earth."
Aw.
They are, and like, you can definitely do that.
Yeah. I'm just moving the torch around and trying to get the flesh to catch. And trying to just purge with flame.
Are you screaming purge while you do it?
Maybe.
Maybe.
Muttering purge. Purge. Just to get me through, it's it's my mantra. But there was that other pathway. Can we hit, obviously there isn't any, nobody's coming up behind us, right? I call out my shoulder. What about the other direction? We must find these killers.
You haven't seen or heard anything coming from that way, but you can, obviously that's the only other way to go, so you can head down.
Yep.
Yeah, I say we all head back, same order as well. Maybe should Amelia be staying at the front? If she's like prone now, she's a little bit. How frightened are you? Still frightened? How long are we saying that is?
Yeah, I don't know.
It would have been about 40 seconds.
Okay.
Yeah. Really, it would be less than a minute. Like, so
yeah. It's really bad in a fight. Out of a fight, you could shake it off pretty quickly.
Yeah.
So as you recompose yourself and you set off down the other pathway to the right, and it does sort of wind down, and it's sort of going in towards, if you sort of like, and Amelia can do this easily, sort of orienting herself within this cave. It's actually going towards the what would be the edge of the gorge. And then as you start to hear, as you continue down, you first start hearing this sort of low noise that, as you get closer, it become more and more apparent that it's chanting, and some sort of yes.
Kalima.
Which, I'm just going to quickly remind myself, I think Sly would understand, but the rest isn't something that you can speak. But Sly, you as you get closer realize that it's this sort of repeated chant along the lines of when he sees us, he will come. And this is this repeated mantra going over with this, a lot of stomping and
I think I'll just mention that meaning to the person closest to me that isn't fire and sword man.
Probably Amelia.
Yeah.
Definitely Amelia.
As I suspected, then they are his agents. We must destroy them and stop whatever it is, this ritual they are chanting.
Just run in there and stabby stab. Is that what we're doing?
I was about to ask, is that how you want to approach this? Do you want to just like charge on in? Do you want to like what's
I mean, Jackaroo holds up his sword and he's like,
no quarter. Just how many of them we are dealing with. We could sneak up and take a look first.
Yeah.
Alright, so who's sneaking?
I guess that would be me. Right? Is it
I'm
me?
I'm not good at the sneaking, but I'm good at the looking. So I don't know.
Sly could probably do this on his own pretty simply. He's got a lot of experience in.
Yeah, I'm not against Sly
being seen.
Reconnaissance. I mean, he was invisible the whole last campaign. The whole last episode was amazing.
Yeah.
Very sneaky. Like, I hope it goes in all of your reports.
Fuck yes.
I think between what you get from being a rogue and what you've got, what your fashions are, I don't even need to like. Once you start getting like more than like 2 boons on a roll, I'm not overly concerned about your ability to do a thing. So you're able to get to move up, and you sort of come around and you can see as you go in, it's this sort of large, almost sort of like an amphitheater, but in this cavern. It continues off on the other side as it goes forward, but it's opened out, and it's opening out into the gorge. There's just like there's no wall on one side. It's just out into nothing. And there is just this group of more of the beastmen that you saw earlier, like in the last session. But it's like this now. It's this huge massed group that are just sort of chanting, and there's you can just see this, this writhing sort of thing as they're stomping and whacking weapons against shields and that sort of stuff. And this,
and if I were to count them,
as I said, like it's, you can make a perception roll. They are, like I said, they are just like personal space doesn't seem to be a thing for them. There's just this massed group.
That's bad.
Oh dear. Many.
Yeah, so like I said, in the area of a dozen, but like
okay,
they're all like these are the weaker of the beastmen, as I said. None of them are wielding anything that looks like well maintained. They're wearing like the scraps of whatever they've managed to scavenge, but there's a number of them. So that's the fear there. In front of this group, on a kind of... Oh, sorry, you go.
There we go.
No?
No. I think you're about to answer my question.
Okay. So, in front of this chanting group, on a kind of very roughly made, almost like podium kind of thing, you can see the one that the Fomor that you you encountered in the clearing with the staff with skulls strapped to it. It definitely appears this is like a leader of this group.
Oh,
it's flanked by a pair of beastmen. These are a different. They are distinctly different from all of the other beastmen here. Whereas the beastman that you've so far encountered and the one that seems to be in charge here. As you've been told, and Sly wasn't the one to know this, you've been told that these are Fomor, and that they are like the lesser of the beastmen, and they have basically humanoid bodies, like human equivalent bodies, but they've got goat heads, and they're flanking this leader are these two much like bigger, more muscular and just more savage looking beastmen, and instead of goats they've got like wolf heads, and they're much more their bodies are much more bestial and hunched than the others, but still walking on hind legs and stuff, and they seem to be not involved in this ritual, but they're almost serving as kind of like bodyguards. But then behind this leader are three people who have been like tied to poles that are close to the edge of the gorge, and you recognize that these are from the people that met you and took you into the clearing. These are three of those people, including the one you spoke to, Thompson, and they are alive, but bound and gagged and looking just terrified.
Okay, I'm going to go back and just very quickly and quietly pass on that information.
Mm-hmm.
And
I should. Sorry. I did leave out something.
Yes.
And there was a
big something or a little something.
So if you imagine, like you got the amphitheater that you're standing at one entrance of. There's another entrance on the other side, and there is kind of like a like tiered seating. This was a sort of like a meeting space. The beastmen aren't in that area. They're in this sort of lower section, like the stage area, and they're all facing out towards the gorge, except for the two more bestial ones who are sort of just keeping an eye out. But at the top of the seating area, so from where you are, you could walk round, and it would lead to the other entrance. So I mean, you've been to like a theater or a stadium. It's like that. But roughly in the middle, there's this articulated, looks like a sort of a statue, but made of like metal and clearly was at some point was a construct that was able to move and round, but it's still, and it seems inert at the moment. But it is this large mechanical lion.
You see, Sam, when you say things like "at the moment" and things like that, you just it doesn't.
UGM.
So to be fair, Sly, you've seen statues. You know what statues look like, and you are literally currently working with a robot centaur. So you've seen what the difference between a statue and something designed to actually move.
Yes, but it's not actually moving yet.
It does look very old and in a bit of disrepair, and it's clearly been ignored, I guess. By
when you say it's in the middle, like, is it just that they chose this room, or are they fating and focusing and trying to? Is it part of their ritual? The lion.
The lion looks like it was part of the room, not part of the Beastman thing.
Right.
So it would likely be that what this lion was here when the Beastmen arrived, and they've not been able to do anything with it, and it wasn't doing anything, so they've just eventually got to the point where they're ignoring it.
It's our new pet.
It might be.
It's just sitting in a pile of enemies. That's why we just got to get rid of like many beastmen, and we can have it.
Fantastic.
Really down for more clockwork.
I mean, it's not amongst the
classic
beastmen.
adventuring party folly.
It's on the other side. It's on the other side of the room.
Okay,
Let's
cool. So we're
awaken the lion golem so that we can have it.
That's my only mission in life now.
Yeah. I can fix it. We just gotta get there.
Does anyone have?
To be fair, once again,
freaking do?
Amelia's like, I can do that. I can fix that.
I just realized that I did that again, but it's totally true.
Oh god.
All right, so I'm like, does anyone have any bows and ranged weapons?
I hold up my sword arm, and I'm like,
yeah.
I could make something work.
Dagger?
We could throw throw some oil or something.
I could fashion something.
Maybe not.
MacGyver.
Maybe we just go to work.
I mean, out of character, I can summon a bolt thrower, which will just like rain bolts on them from a long distance.
I'm not against that suggestion.
Mm-hmm.
I mean, this is tricky. We need to.
How many of them did you say in total there was?
Just many.
About a dozen.
A large clump.
About a dozen? A large clump.
About a dozen-ish of just writhing beastmen, and then 3 others who would seem a bit more superior.
I mean, when we fought them before, none of them had ranged weapons of any sort, did they?
The one with the staff was definitely at various points trying to cast something,
some sort of
but was never able to actually get that off before you.
Oh yeah, can you? Is he accessible? Like, he's got bodyguards, but can we get to him without having to go through the others? Like,
it'd be tricky, but and it'd be a lot easier if you could like draw the group away somehow. I guess.
Screw it. I think we just go in and murder everything.
Yeah, we could make like a shield wall. I could get if I make a turret, it could maybe hit that guy.
Sweet. Awesome.
Well, I think from using sort of Jack has that military mind as well, and he remembers from the previous battle. I'd say, be like, I feel as if we can do some sort of severe damage to the leaders, the rest would perhaps become somewhat terrified or without purpose and chaotic and run.
You also
it did not seem strong of will.
No.
It also occurs with with military knowledge that things that stand close together don't like being hit with explosive things. Anything that could do like an area, because they are, like I said, they're very close together. So
yes, I would love to throw something at them. I don't have things to throw.
Yeah, I don't have a grenade or anything like that.
Nah.
You can see that, like, Orum's just sort of, he's getting more and more agitated. Like, he really wants to get in there and kill these things. He's like, come on, we have to... Somebody, back me up.
What?
Somebody do something!
I feel like, well, Jackaroo is he's impulsive, so he'll be like, alright, friend, let's go kill the big one.
Yeah.
It's like,
and then...
I like gesture to the tunnel, like, go ahead.
Well, I'm like, do you want to throw something at the little ones? Is that what we're doing? I'm not much use, unfortunately, until I'm right up in their face.
I think we just charge.
Holy
I will
crap.
send Victor in with you.
Oh, excellent.
Yep. I'm gonna just sort of
I don't know if you have
kiss my holy symbol, and then ready my maul and just charge down the corridor that last little bit. I'll try not to be. I won't scream until they can see me.
It's good of you. It's good tactical sense to just sort of hold off.
Yeah, I mean, at the very least, we're gonna provide a great distraction. So if you two wanna like sneak in and throw shit from the rafters along the edges, then we'll be busy getting our butts kicked.
Yeah, well, as you two like charge down the corridor, Amelia sort of there's that same visible like sagging as Victor crawls out of her clothing and follows along next to them. This sort of snake robot. This is maybe the first time you've seen this, Orem. That she has a pet snake robot.
What?
Yeah, because you kept the Victor.
I kept it hidden the entire.
Yeah.
Oh.
Yeah.
So surprise snake robot is surprising.
It's, women have strange things under their undergarments. Everyone knows that.
We're mostly snake
Best not
robots.
to talk about them.
More snake robot than woman.
Yeah, pretty much.
Actually, Orum's probably that's the bit.
Oh, God.
It's like, yeah, they probably have snake women under there. Okay, I mean snake robot. All right.
Okay. How are you? So Orem and Jackaroo, you're sort of advancing. How are you? Just going straight down at them? Are you going sort of trying to go around? Like, what's the?
I want to go around because I want to get to the leader, dude. That's he's like, I want to bring down the big guy.
And I'll be like,
you're
right,
trying to make your way.
I'm gonna look up charge.
I'm pretty sure you roll with a bane.
It's
you
can move during an action and your attack, but your attack gets a bane, which would cancel. You normally get your attack normally has a boon, so you
roll straight.
Because your weapon. Sorry, you get a boon. Orem gets a boon when he attacks, but his weapon gives him a bane as well. So it'd be that already gets cancelled that out. So you would end up with a bane because he's got a very big ball.
Okay.
Well, if I have to move into,
you do.
If I need to move into battle for that first attack, then that's what I'll do.
Yeah, same. I'll do these. I'll do a charge.
You are able to sort of using the element of surprising because everyone is sort of more focused. I mean, the other two, which Orem you probably recognize are wargs, as opposed to the Fomor that the others are. There is because of the you did reconnaissance. They're very much, and this ritual has been just gaining pace and fervor as you have gone. So as you approach the large group and the leader, that they seem oblivious to you. So it's really just the wargs that have noticed And as an added benefit, I guess, Aurum, you would also be aware that the leader is likely a void caller, and that they are generally they rise to prominence because they have been gifted. They are blessed, inverted commas, with dark magics, which they use to, browbeat and intimidate the rest into a leadership position. And that as a crusader, you have probably dealt with such things in the past. That they are quite dangerous. But the wargs move to intercept, essentially.
Okay.
And then we will jump into combat. Though before they're rushing down this into the stage section. What is Sly and Amelia doing?
I just want to be waiting right at the tunnel entrance, so I can see the scene as these guys charge into the cave, but I don't want to have stepped in.
My plan is to stick next to Amelia until I see the lay of the field, and then probably attack from the rear if necessary, or find some cover, maybe with the lion, not a statue, and try to get above the fray and stab from wherever I can.
Yeah, she's just holding back.
Yes.
Okay. All good. So in combat, we'll just quickly go over how that works, because we've only really done it once so far. So instead of rolling initiative like you might do in Dungeons and Dragons, you instead just simply declare if you're going to act in the fast round, and if you act in the fast round, you get to either move or do an action. Though, as we pointed out, you can act. There are actions like charge, which allow you to do both. If you decide you want to go in the slow round, you will get a movement and an action. Player characters always go first, so basically everyone who wants to go in the fast round will go before the NPCs. The NPCs then we'll go, and then we'll move into slow. And there's no order. If you want to go on a pistol, you can work that yourself. Otherwise, you just go, I want to do a fast action, and then you just tell me what that action is, and we just sort of do it, and we keep going until no one else wants to do fast actions, and so on. And then there's an end of round thing where we clear up anything that needs to be done in the end of the round. We start again.
Sam, can you quickly explain to me how triggered actions work?
Triggered actions are kind of the same as reactions in Dungeons and Dragons.
So you get one per round.
You get one per round. Yes.
And then that, regardless of whether you take a fast or slow turn.
Yes. You always have a triggered action available. So for things like opportunity attacks or other people who have other options, some spells can be cast as that. Some, Jackaroo's healing ability can be done as a triggered action.
Catch your breath. Yeah.
Catch your breath. That's the one. So that's you will. Yeah, so you whether you go fast or slow, you will always have that as well.
Okay. Cool.
All right. I would like to smash into one of the grouped up beastmen using a driving attack, which forces them back. Yards equal to my strength modifier, which hopefully will cause a bit of chaos since they're so bunched up.
Well, you will. The wargs are now between you and.
Well, the wargs were intercepting me, right?
Well,
okay,
they're
intercepting
screw
that.
Two of you. The group and the leader haven't. If they have noticed you, they haven't done anything to indicate that. But the wargs have moved.
Fantastic. In that case, I will scream, "Die, abomination!" and swing my maul at the warg and get a 12, which is probably not enough.
No, it manages to duck under your swing.
Gotcha!
Do you not add your strength or something to that?
Oh yes, sorry, that should be a 15.
Okay. That is Yeah, that actually is enough. That's exactly enough, in fact.
Sweet. In that case, I do 15 damage.
Whoa, that mole!
That does so much damage. Oh my.
It's sort of 15 damage. Okay. So I want to. Yeah. So instead of definitely avoiding this this attack, you just pulverize its head. Like it just crushes its head like an egg, and this body just falls to the ground.
Fuck yes, Sorum.
He ducked the upswing, and then I came back down.
Great. Well, I'm going to take a fast.
This is why you bring the blunt instrument along.
Exactly. So I'm inspired by that. Jackaroo's going to do a charge action at the which I usually get a boon, but it's cancelled out by the Bane, so it's a straight roll plus my strength.
Yes, and is this the other Warg? Who are you going after?
Yes, is the other Warg not dead? That was an 18 plus 2 is 20.
Yes, so 2 Wargs. One of them is just instantly just gibbed.
No, I'll go for the other one. I'd be like, I see him get that one, and I'm like, sweet, I'm gonna go for the other one. And I got 20. So I'm gonna roll my grafted sword. And that's for 13 damage.
Wow. That is not enough. But it is just it's stab. You drive your sword, this charge. You drive it, and it does take a couple of steps back. It's sort of like the momentum carries it forward, and then it just lets out this howl, and it just tries to it proceeds to just try and actually just bite into your arm.
Before it does. Unless this is like a reaction thing, I still have
a reaction thing. Yes.
Oh, okay. Cool.
No, this is in reaction. To what just happened. But no, it's not good enough.
No, I slam my shield in front, like.
So it does. Yeah, it's sort of like it comes about. You sort of put it. It's like ignoring. You put it almost put the shield into its mouth, and it's just like.
Spit it out! Spit it out!
While it's distracted with Jackaroo, Victor is also going to charge in there, so I'm going to attack with 1 Bane for him.
Yep.
Oh, that's not good. The Bane is a 6. He has +3, which means it's got a total of -3 for the attack. Oh, there's a... Hold on, that shouldn't be -9. It should be -3. So does a 14 hit?
No.
Oh, it's just under. 14. Yeah, just under.
14. Not a hit.
Oh, we were so close to being so cool.
I'm going to use my action, and now this ability, Steal Identity, has to be a living creature within short range. Is the Warg within short range?
Not of you. Short range is like 5 meters, 5 yards.
It's 3 yards, which is 15. No, 5 yards, which is 15 feet ish.
Yeah. Can I move
I
to get in
just
short range?
I turn yards into meters because it's close enough. If you did a slow turn, you could move up and do that.
That's what I'll do then.
Yeah, Amelia's also going to take a slow turn, so...
so the Warg is going fast.
Okay.
And it's going to try and bring... It's got an axe that it's going to try and bring down onto Jackaroo.
Uh-oh.
Where are we? There we are. No, it's just clanging against your shield and your naturally armored body. It's not having.
And I got that sexy horse bondage armor on too.
Wait, what?
That is not at all. That is not at all how that armor was described when it was given.
It's just tumbling. You said bands. I went banded, bonded, bondage. It's like 3 easy steps.
None of those words. None of those words. It's just. Let's be fair. Any leather that Jackaroo wears is automatically bondage wear.
Yeah, exactly.
Wow. Okay. So that does, I guess, bring us to the slow action. So, Sly, please.
So I want to move, steal this fellow's identity, so the bubbling mud of twigs and gross popping sounds. And then I want to shout in their language, "He has forsaken us, we must run! Scatter!"
No. Make a
oh god,
intelligence roll with 2 banes.
I thought it was badass.
Yeah, I mean they did see you transform in front of them.
Well, the group isn't paying attention, so the wild definitely saw and is very confused. But like,
I suppose they're very, very focused.
Well, there you go.
Well,
that's a plus,
they
plus
don't.
1, so it's 5.
Yeah, they don't. They're not responding to you, and like, it does feel like that they've reached this fever pitch for this whatever they're doing, and at which point the void caller basically just plunges a knife into one of the bodies, the first person, just stabs into their heart, and then just sort of like rips up. And as he does, he like in the same motion of like bringing up his arm, he sort of cuts the bindings that they were sort of attached up onto the this sort of pole, and his body just falls forward. There's this massive from this massive formor. At which point they all like almost in unison just shift round and lock eyes with you, and they start to sort of as we go into the next round, they've all started to sort of move towards you.
I haven't had a turn yet.
Oh right, sorry. That's what does Amelia do before everything I just said happens?
So,
circumvent all of it.
Yeah, somehow stop everything that's happened.
There's one warg that's still fighting Jackaroo. There's about 12 Fomor who are all chanting in a circle.
Yes.
And then there's like the boss one is
on a kind of he's in front of them on a makeshift sort of stage or like
okay. So how many yards or meters away is he?
From what?
From the entrance to this cave where I'm standing.
Oh, probably about 30 meters ish from the entrance to the edge of the gorge, and he's basically there.
Now I know that we've got like a grimdark fantasy thing going on in this campaign, but what happens next is kind of more magical girl anime. Because Amelia reaches into her pocket and she pulls out what looks like a Wiccan pentacle, and she throws it into the air, and it starts like spinning around, and she says, "Lord and Lady of the Fae, I call on your power." And she like reaches her hand in, and it like goes like it turns magical as she reaches in, and she pulls out a wrench from like the middle of nowhere, and then the pentacle falls to the ground, and she like slams the wrench down into it, and it like explodes upwards into a bolt throwing turret.
No,
so I'm using the bolt thrower spell.
So I'm imagining this pentacle is getting like it gets bigger. You put your hand into it to pull out this magic.
Yeah. It's like
wrench.
growing, and then it becomes like the base of the turret. Which
so it sort of builds up. It's sort of like you can like the pentacle becomes like a solid base, and it kind of like these constructions just appear out of nowhere until it comes up, and there's this automated crossbow turret essentially.
Yeah,
I love it.
So this is my one. This is my level 1 spell as opposed to like cantripy level 0 spells. So at the end of each round, it fires at one creature or object within long range. So after she summons that, she just like starts striding into the room, holding her magic wrench.
I love that you are sort of you're Salem MacGyver. That's what you are.
This character is totally Salem MacGyver.
With a Salem MacGyver with a strong Wiccan bent.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I love her. We're gonna love her.
I'm assuming you.
Yeah. So she. I assume so. Like any other attack spell, you get to choose a target.
Yeah,
but
that looks right. That sounds right.
And then I want to use my movement to move into the room so that I'm within like 15 yards, whatever that is, short range of the things, but like not all the way into melee where Jackaroo is.
Short range is 5 yards.
Yeah. Right. Sorry. Yep, that's what I meant. If I can get that far with one movement. How much do we move? That's right. Our speed is only like 10 or something, isn't it?
Your speed in yards.
All right. Well, I'll move 10 yards into the room.
Yeah. So you're probably about 10 yards from the Warg, and then 20 yards from the Void Caller.
That's totally fine.
Maybe probably 15 in a different direction to the group.
But I will make my turret attack against the Void Caller. Cool.
Nice.
Yes.
But that's only a 17, so it's probably a miss on the first. As it shoots a bolt out towards it.
Yeah. So this is this clunk as it sort of like fires this bolt, and it whizzes past the Void Caller's head, and then you sort of hear it like it's another clunk as it starts resetting itself. But it whizzes past the Void Caller's head just at the same moment, because this happens at the so just at the exact moment that he's like plunged forward to sacrifice the first guy. That sort of movement allowed it to go past his head, and
oh damn!
And again, so as I said, the first one is killed, and the large group now has just like turned on you, and they're in the beginning to, as we move into the next round, they've just started to sort of make their way towards you in this sort of frenzied rush. So we're at the top of the round again.
I love a frenzied rush.
Yeah.
All right, I'm keen to take another fast turn because I need to kill the warg that's hanging off my arm.
Yeah.
Yeah, exactly. So I'm just gonna straight up attack it, which I get with 1 boon because I'm a warrior. Oh, that's the kind of boon I like to roll. 6 plus 19.
Yeah, roll.
I'm gonna swing into that bugger with my grafted sword. Oh, 4.
Ooh.
Jesus, double ones.
It's not much, but essentially you had him basically skewered already. So just the act of
plunging it a bit deeper. I'm like,
it's almost like sort of like twist that sort of to free the sword and pulling it out. And it's kind of almost like the sword was the sword being in the wire was what was kind of like stopping it from just bleeding out. So as soon as you did that, it just rapidly just collapses to the ground.
Sweet. Done.
All right. Are there so with the bodyguards down, how far away is the shaman Void Caller from me? Do I need to move or not?
You could probably you would be able to reach this the Void Caller, but you would probably have to like go past. No, not without it'd be too far because if you wanted to skirt, you have to go through the group. You'd have to go through
well, I'll keep running the group then. I'll leave him to the range guys. I'll swing at nearby for more and try to crack some skulls.
Yeah.
Oh, that's not a great boon, but hang on. That's not going to hit
You don't
anyway.
get a boon.
Oh yeah.
Oh,
yeah. Okay, so
weapon.
right. I have.
Oh, that's right.
No, you're sort of
Yeah.
Just the press of bodies had made it hard to sort of get a good swing if you're trying to like maneuver into a position where you can.
It's very heavy. He's like, ow, my back.
Come on, what are you?
My back.
Anyone else? Anyone else?
Get back.
Anyone else
get
going
back,
fast?
get back.
So they're not. We'd have to use a charge to get in melee with them still, right? Like Victor's.
If you've got to go fast, yes.
Victor was next. Victor will do that, so he'll charge into the mess.
Yes, come on, Victor.
Yeah.
So he gets 1 Bane, and he gets a +3 on this. I don't know how to... so it's a net 20. So the total is 20. Because it's a Bane of 3, but a +3 for his strength.
+3.
Nice.
Yeah. That's you managed to sort of do some damage.
I think this is the first time Victor's actually hit something.
You know,
are there like critical hits or anything in this, or do you have to over?
No, that's feet, isn't it?
There are, but you have to have the ability to do it. So, like, at warriors at level 2 get a critical ability. I think rogues get something. Some spells will have, and it's if you roll 20 or higher and are beating the target number by 5 is how that works.
Yeah, one of my spells I think has that. All right, I'll roll.
Yes.
Victor doesn't do a huge amount of damage, just a d6. Oh, damn it, I rolled outside the dice box. I swear it was a 6, but it was outside the dice box. So here we go. 3 damage.
Doesn't count if it's not in the tray.
Yeah.
Yeah, so it basically sort of like this tiny little this little snake robot has managed to get into this press of bodies and is just sort of wailing and biting, and it's it's had an effect.
Go snake robot.
Go catch it, snake robot.
She's a little bit Inspector Gadget, actually. Inspector Gadget cross Sailor MacGyver.
Yeah, at some point if we sort of start giving you mechanical limbs and whatnot, we can make it happen.
It's pretty cool.
So we've had Jackaroo, we've had Aurum, we've had Victor. Sly or Amelia going in the fast round, or are they both going slow?
Slow for Amelia.
If I wanted to try and move through these fellows now that everyone that looks like me is dead except me, is that fast or slow?
It would be like moving. If you go in fast turn, you would get
just moving. I just want to get on the other side of them towards the void caller.
Yeah, if you're just moving, then I would say it's fast.
Yeah, that's fast. But you're going to want to make as you do, make an intelligence roll with a boon to asset. No, 2 boons. 2 boons.
2 boons.
Can I also use trickery to make it 3 boons?
Oh.
Yes.
Yeah, trickery. You want to use trickery on everything.
Yes. There's very little reason to not use trickery as a rogue.
Yeah. Unless you've already used it that turn, you are always using trickery.
That's pretty damn cool.
You're just like, I'm pretty good at shit all the time.
Get it damn straight. Ooh,
yeah.
17.
They leave you alone. They are they're definitely in this sort of like frenzy, but they essentially they've seen someone who is a beastman. Despite the fact there was 2 Wag, there's now 3. They're just like, you're a beastman, whatever, I don't care. The ones without, yeah, whatever. Well, it's cool. They're really chill about it.
They're like, whatever. They're like, that guy's cool. Don't worry about him.
Yeah, they kind of let you pass without. You can just move through this group.
Now, just to outlay the lay of the land again, there is the gorge, with the men on poles, with the Void Caller next to them, and the lion is on the other side of the room?
Yes. Up the top of
so
the seating area.
Okay. So if that doesn't seem like it's an issue, I'm just going to try and get as close to the Void Caller as I can without seeming threatening to him.
Yeah.
Just coming along.
You sort of come out. You
Don't mind me.
Sort of you can sort of get to the point where you're not like next to him, but you are definitely within like short range of this thing, and he hasn't, just like the others, he hasn't paid attention to this other beastman. He's just like focused on what he's doing.
Excellent.
Amelia, are you?
And that's my turn. Yes.
Yes, if you're going if you're doing the fast thing, then
I'm going in the slow round. So any of the beasties that are going fast go.
Right.
Yep.
Okay. In that case,
Shit's about to get messy.
what range is that? Right. Cool. The void caller kind of just as a brief pause, sort of redirects focus back to you and starts sort of muttering something under their breath, and there's this glow starts to surround their staff, and then they start sort of like just swinging it, and with each swing this ball of fire comes out. One goes at Aurum, one goes at Jackaroo, and one goes to Amelia.
Mm-hmm.
So I need to make...
It can reach me at 20 feet away?
Yes.
Damn.
Yes,
I'm getting fireballed.
Fireball.
So I need to...
Fireballs of evil!
And
Curses! Can't you just bat it back with your maul? Like,
let me know, what is your agility?
What is my
Actually, don't
agility? It's 10.
Yeah. They're
Those are
definitely...
like bad numbers.
No.
oh, those are big numbers.
Those are all
Oh,
big. Those are all big numbers.
Those are all
I think we all
very
getting hit.
big.
Oh no! This is how Sly gets promoted.
Everyone takes 7 damage.
I'm gonna use my triggered action, catch my breath, to recover some of my health in response to that.
Yeah,
So I
Aurum,
recover-
you actually take 9.
I take 9 damage.
Oh.
Yeah.
Okay, ouch.
This is the bit where we remember how fragile characters are. How much health
Yeah.
do you guys have total?
Everyone in this game is a glass ninja. Like, you hit hard, but you get hit hard. Which I like.
No.
Yeah.
Yeah,
It's like
I agree.
everyone was like, oh, Aurum can kill someone in one hit. It's like, yeah,
So can they, yeah.
but that goes both ways. So
Yeah, I needed to get closer to it too.
Can I just check, when we're inputting our damage, is that going into wounds?
yes, so essentially the way it's generally described in the book is that instead of being like in Dungeons & Dragons, where you have a health point pool and you deduct from that, instead you have a damage pool which you add to. And so once your damage pool is the same as your health rating, you go down, you're incapacitated. Once you get to half, you're injured, which might have an effect for certain things, and in fact does, because it hasn't come up, but we are using the optional advanced injury rules, so which did not.
Well,
trigger.
I'm injured. I'm injured, by the way.
Oh shit, that was fast.
So that did not. I rolled, and you didn't take additional injury from the fireball. So
Awesome.
that was fine.
How much damage do I take?
7.
And if it's half of my health, then I get an injury, possibly?
Well, you are injured,
Yeah.
but I checked. I did the roll, so no one has taken additional.
Oh,
injury,
no one's saying. Okay.
Cool.
No, there was no additional damage done, but you are.
Yikes.
Yeah, definitely.
All right. Well, that was more than half my health in one hit, so that's good.
Frick.
Yeah.
I love it.
We need to turn on that.
Magician-
Can anyone
magicians
get that
are-
lion? Anyone gonna turn on that lion?
I don't have any
I can't
magic
tell.
lion waking up abilities, but
I might, but I'm not sure whether.
At the moment, I'm more concerned with the big bad guy shooting
Yeah.
fire about the place.
It's not a bad point.
So the end after everyone else is gone, the group, this group of Fomor, essentially just start to swarm forward, and so they are they've engulfed. They sort of start to wrap around Aurum. They're definitely starting to swarm around Jackaroo. Victor is just sort of lost in the mess.
Yeah. But they're not making attacks.
No, they're just not at. They kind of. It'll happen. You'll see, but they're just kind of clawing at you at this point. They're not making a direct effort to attack you. They are
psyching themselves up.
But they are just the press of bodies. The end. Stuff will happen at the end of the round. It's fine. Don't worry about it. They don't get to Amelia though. So and obviously, Sly they've ignored and they're now just moved away from. And that is, I don't think anyone's was Amelia. You had
I
a
still have a slow turn. Yeah.
So you are up. Everyone else is gone.
So the big bad guy's still up on his stage.
Yeah, it's sort of like he's still doing whatever ritual he was in the middle of, but he just sort of like casually sort of turned around, chucked a couple of fire at this group, and it's just like, but then is refocused back on the.
Is there any path around the mass of Fomor to that stage? I'm still like 20 feet away from it.
Yeah, so you're 20 feet in a straight line. There's now a press of bodies in front of you. But you can definitely skirt around them.
And like, the press of bodies is what, 10 meters away, and then he's like another 10.
And it's definitely close enough. It's probably more like 5 now. But if you could do, I guess they like, because you've got move and action, you could do the rush action, which is like you can move twice and then also move. So you can move
I have another option. Is there a limit on how many spells I can cast in a round if like one is triggered and one is
no,
not is like normal action?
So, no. I think as long as you have the action to do it, you can do it.
So I have the celerity spell, which you can use normally to move twice your speed without triggering attacks, or you can use it as a triggered action just to move once at your speed. So if I move into the mass of bodies and then use celerity as a triggered thing, can I get past them to where he is?
Ooh, yes.
All right, so there's this moment where Amelia starts like running. Yeah, Amelia starts like running towards the mass of bodies, and as she reaches them,
Ninja run.
like, yeah, she sort of the wrench starts glowing, and she just like sort of does like Dragon Ball Z, like sort of through them, dodging through the mass of bodies, to end on the other side, and then she stands like maybe like 2 or 3 meters away from the stage. And she says, the Lord and the Lady curse you. And I'm going to cast Hex on this guy.
Oh, nice.
On the big bad.
Yeah.
So I make an intellect attack against the target's will, not against the defense. So let's go.
Okay.
Oh, yeah, you did.
Oh yeah.
Man, if I'd got 20, he would have been dazed for a round, but instead he is cursed for a minute, which means he's impaired, which means all of his attacks have 1 bane.
Yep.
Cool.
Very cool.
And any challenge rolls he makes have a bane, and all of our attacks against him have a boon.
Nice.
I love you, Sailor MacGyver.
Me.
Which is exactly when the turret gears up and makes another attack. So
I will point out though, if you do damage to him, it also breaks the curse. So it's 1
really?
minute or until it takes damage.
Yeah.
Oh, where does it say?
Hey,
On a success,
if it lands
the
a
target
hit, it
becomes
lands a
cursed for
hit.
1 minute or until it takes damage.
Oh, I
after
missed
the,
that somewhere.
Second sent.
All right.
I still think
the
it's very
crossbow, yeah.
badass.
Crossbow gets a...
Then, well, I'm not sure if I'll use the turret to just attack a foe more then, because it only does 2d6 damage. And Zane, you're about to hit it with a big attack, aren't you?
The only attack I've got.
How much damage does your...
Crossbow probably
2d6
would be more effective against the leader than it would be against the mass of bodies.
Yeah, okay.
All
right, yeah. Okay, the turret will go up. We'll just try and use that boon.
Because if it misses, then I mean the curse stays until Zane will get it anyway.
Yeah.
Yeah. Yeah.
I'll just get it.
realize
I'll just get
that
it. It's just...
that is frustrating that like the impairment goes away on damage. All right, cool. Yeah, I will roll an intellect attack against its defense with a boon, right?
Yes.
That's the boon from the hex, and
Cool.
the roll is 22.
So the crossbow is one of the ones that gets to crit. So you do an extra d6 damage.
Yay!
Oh yeah, that's right. On the bolt thrower thing, it says on a 20 plus, the target takes an additional
20 plus.
d6.
Yeah.
Hiya! 8 damage.
Bam! 8
That
damage.
is not bad.
Yeah.
Your crossbow to the face, buddy.
Catches this crossbow, high in the shoulder, and it just sort of in its back. And he sort of lets out this sort of pained cry, and then swings round to see what it has attacked, and it sees this weird crossbow machine, and so it's a bit confused at the point, but is now very, very angry that it was that you dared to hurt it. How dare you? Which will bring us to the end of the round, and so I need Aurum, Jackaroo, and Victor to make agility challenge rolls.
Okie doke.
No, not good.
Oh no!
I'm not great for agility. Oh, that's
no.
Victor, also not good.
Yes, that's not great.
All right, in the press of bodies just clawing at you in a rage, even though they're not, you end up taking 8 damage.
Oh my god.
Joke.
All right. Here's the bad news. That's gonna take me down.
Shit!
Jackaroo,
I have more.
Wait, sorry?
I have more.
Did you roll as well, Jackaroo? I just don't see it on my screen.
I did. It just didn't register. I rolled a 1.
Oh,
cool. I thought. Oh, maybe that was your one. Here, let me just roll.
No.
You're right. It didn't register.
It's not a
I rolled a 1.
It's not a trade. It doesn't.
That's weird. I did
count.
click it. That was weird. Okay, I'll roll it now. It's not. It doesn't want to seem to go. Here, you know what? I'll just do it. I'll do mine automatically. It's -2.
Why?
Yeah, like I am not agile, so this will probably not go great. 17.
No, that's enough. You just need to get challenge rolls. Only need to be 10 or higher. So
Thank God.
You are weathering. You're these clawing attacks as it's sort of like they're just in this frenzy of just beating on you.
Oh
but
crap!
yeah,
Orm's down.
Yeah, I go down under a hail of bodies.
No! This press of bodies, and Aurum is now down, which means we will get to discover what fate rolls are like.
Yep.
Ooh.
Yeah. Sam, what happens when Victor is at 0 health?
He shuts down.
He's a construct like me, so I guess he winds down.
Yeah. That also happens
becomes
because he only has 8 health total.
Shoot.
Yeah, so he kind of just goes inert. And
become effectively an object.
Prepared. Yeah.
Okay.
Where are we? Where? Okay. Yeah. So top of the round again. So, oh no, because you'd probably have to make a fate roll for Aurum. Where is? When do you take fate rolls?
Yeah. What is dying like in this grimdark fantasy?
In this horribly dark world we live in.
Yeah.
I'll find the page for you.
Yeah, I think it's just rolling a d6 at the end of the turn. We'll see what happens, and then we'll.
Yep. So okay. If I take, there's instant death. Yep, but we haven't got that. A creature becomes incapacitated when its damage total equals its health score. Becoming incapacitated, the creature falls prone, and I remain incapacitated until my damage total no longer equals my health. If I take any damage while incapacitated, I die. Oh no, that's just regular creatures. PCs have become disabled, not. Yep. So I'm defenseless. At the end of each round that you are disabled, roll a d6. On a 1, you start dying. On a 6, I heal 1 damage and spring back up.
Yes.
After 3 seconds.
Sounds very...
So it is the end of the round now.
Yes. So make a d6.
Yep. 5, nothing happens. After
so
3 rolls where I either don't... Yeah, so I'm just, as I was, I'm basically defenseless, lying on the ground. And after 3 rounds, I will be unconscious.
Right, like stable.
Okay.
But I'm basically just sort of lying on the ground feeling awful. I'm not going to start dying unless I roll that 1. So it is actually quite hard to die.
You're not actually...
Yeah.
You're just not able to get up and do anything at this point. Which brings us again to the top of the round. So who wants to do what?
I've got a fast action. I'm not actually going to head for Aurum. I think I'm going to be in like rage military mode and sheer. I want to do a driving attack through the body immediately in front of me towards the void caller, if possible, so that I can break out of the squash that I'm in.
Are you attacking like the Fomor, or are you attacking the void caller?
No, the Fomor. The driving attack is for the Fomor immediately in front of me, and it should break me out a number of yards equal to my strength, I believe. Cool. Or my strength modifier, let me double check. On a success, you and the target move in... Yeah, okay. So I could move up to 2 yards out of the crush. So I roll... It's with a bane, but I already get a boon, so I'll roll without. Okay, I'll roll it. It's +2, because it's my strength, so it's 21.
Yeah. You
awesome.
Start just hacking left and right, and just carving a path. Roll damage.
Yep, I'll roll my grafted sword, and that's 12.
So you just, you are kind of just hacking away. And it's as I said, it's a press of bodies. It's not actually, there's no room for finesse. You're just literally just carving a path, and you sort of have to like trample them as they fall. And you are now basically on the other side of the group. You'll still have a few of them like clawing at you, but you are now on the opposite end of this press of bodies.
Cool. How far am I from the void caller?
Probably within a move.
Okay, cool. Just good to know for future thought. All right, that's me there. Sorry, Aurum. I've just left your body crushed there. I feel so bad. Bye.
It's how I would have wanted.
Anyone else going fast?
I think I will.
Yeah, how close are you to the void caller? Are you going to attack it this turn?
Yes, depending on what Sam says my understanding of magic is. Do I think he needs his staff to continue the ritual, or cast any more spells, or is that just kind of like ornamentation?
How much do you know how much does Sly know about magic?
He's been hanging around with Amelia, I guess, just regular person. Like, I don't think he's done... done much with magic.
Make an intelligence roll.
With trickery?
If you want. It can definitely include
trickery. I do!
Yep. Always, it works on... It's once per round, basically, but on any roll, pretty much. Any attack or attribute roll.
Yeah.
Yeah. You are aware that to do any kind of magic, you will need some kind of implement as like a focus. So when Aurum was casting before, he was using his holy symbol. Amelia seems to be using this wrench, and the
the pentacle itself is the.
Sorry, yes, no, you're right. The pentacle would be the thing. And the Void Caller does appear to be using the staff. So yes, the staff is very much.
All right, then I'm going to use my scroll of break, and take 1 damage to destroy his staff.
That's so cool.
You're gonna need to make an agility test to actually grab it. You just need to touch this thing, and it's not like on it because it's being held. It's not like lying there. If it was just like on a table or something, you just reach over. But because he's not going to just let you touch it. But
even though I'm a wargy person.
I mean, he's not going to let another beastman touch his stuff. But because he's not expecting it, you do get. I will give you 2 boons because you've put a lot of effort into getting yourself into this position.
How many boons?
2.
2 boons. And an agility.
Yeah. No, you sort of pull out with one hand. You quickly sort of read through this scroll, and then with the other, you sort of just reach out and grip. And as soon as you touch the staff, the Void Caller sort of just like spins around, and just glares at you, and it's just like, and it's just like growls at you. But then, in that moment, the staff just shatters into bits.
In his language, I'll go, I thought I was helping.
I'm helping! Let me help you with some magic!
I don't know what the dark speech translation for "it's my first day" is, but
it's my first day!
Yeah, no, you've just completely destroyed the staff. It's gone.
Nice.
Awesome.
That's
anyone else going fast?
Yeah. So the Void Caller was it facing like this giant chasm?
It was.
Is that where they around? Yeah.
It was basically it had its back to you, and then he sort of like turned to just sort of like throw the fireballs, but then turned back to the ritual. Still has his back to you, but he's now obviously looking at Sly.
Yeah. So they're up on the stage, sort of like overlooking the big chasm.
Yeah, I mean, stage is probably a bit generous. It's just like they've just piled up a bunch of stuff. There's a relatively flat surface. Yeah, a little bit of a raised platform. It's probably more accurate.
I'm sure everyone was waiting for this moment. I'm going to throw my magic wrench at him.
Yay! Just in time.
So I make an intellect attack roll against the target's defense, and on a success, he takes some damage and falls prone. All right. Yeah. That's oh, it's not coming up on the thing. I rolled a 15 plus 2. Can you guys see that roll?
That's all right. That's all right. I'm happy.
Yeah.
It seems yeah.
I can try again.
I mean, if it's playing up, it's playing up. It's like I'm happy. No, I'm happy for you to take
that time it rolled, but it got a much lower roll.
No, like it's playing up, but I'm happy for you to take that first roll.
Okay. Well, does a 17 hit?
Yes.
Okay. So does a D6 plus 1? Yeah.
Knock him
4
prone.
damage, and he's knocked prone.
He sort of like drops, and I am actually going to, because it's a little bit precarious for him to drop it where he's standing.
That's what I was wondering.
Yeah, I'm going to quickly check his agility. and we're gonna just see what happens.
Oh, I fell
he's
off a
fine.
claw.
He's on the edge, definitely, but he is it doesn't fall.
It's his first day too.
Well, yeah, took a magical wrench to the back of the head, and it's now on the ground. Where? Who else have we got? That was everyone.
That is everyone because Orem and Victor are
Orem's
unconscious.
down. Victor.
Yep.
Is also
Can I then? So at the end of the round, so I get to roll my d6.
Before
yeah.
the horde does get to try.
Yeah, they
If
get
they
to
have a
mess it
slow
up.
action, and the crossbow thing goes off as well.
Yeah. So they actually will. Yeah. So they attack Jackaroo. And roll. I get a 15 on their attack roll.
That's my defense. 15 is my defense.
That's a hit.
Okie doke.
They hit you for 1 so far.
Sweet! I'm not gonna lie, I'm doing pretty okay. I should never have said that. I'm going to die now, aren't I?
I mean,
wow.
I feel it'd be wrong of me to not punish you for saying that.
Yeah, I do. I feel bad. I'm sorry. I could pay penance elsewhere.
As is
please.
tradition.
Moving into the end of the round, the crossbow does go before the horde.
Did anyone else say so they're not attacking me? Is that right?
Yeah, I suppose they would. No,
I'm on the ground. I'm disabled. Yep.
Their end of round thing is what will get you.
Oh, okay. So when they do that, my defense is 5 because I'm disabled.
Yeah.
So that's
the crossbow is going to keep firing at the void caller, but it has a bane because it's prone now. So,
yes.
Bane of 2 does a 12 hit.
It does actually. That is just yeah.
Well then, it will take another 4 damage.
Yeah.
Nice.
Another crossbow bolt. Probably just wasn't as solid a hit. It's sort of like more of a graze now that it's like the angle's not as good. But yeah. But we get to the end of the turn, so Jackaroo, you need to make another agility roll.
Is she there?
Oh, we may have lost 3 again.
I'm just back. I'm back. It took me a second. Sorry.
You need to make an agility roll.
Oh, good, great. I'm so good at those. What's happening to me?
The horde is clawing at you.
Got it. Okay, I've got a -2. Oh, wait, sorry. Sorry, my brain's all over the place. I like zoned out, and then I was like, no. 10.
Yeah.
Now, that was close.
How does challenge rolls work when you're disabled? Because I
automatically fail on all challenge rolls.
Oh, that's unfortunate.
Ooh. That's less than kosher.
My other thing is that if you take, because you are incapacitated,
and you take any damage.
Yes.
If you take
I can keep taking damage. I do keep taking damage, but it doesn't really get that bad for me. I don't get worse unless I take like a metric ton of damage. I just stay disabled. I need to record it as well. I need to record the damage, I believe.
So.
Okay. I see. Oh, okay. If the creature takes any damage, player carries.
Dying is hard.
So you don't. We don't count as creatures.
I think, unfortunately, that the bit where it says player characters, however, is actually referring to the previous bit about how when you get incapacitated, you're either immediately dead or just fall unconscious. Players, on the other hand, make fate rolls, but I think the part where a creature that takes damage while incapacitated is killed is still relevant. Is still applies to player characters.
Okay, it is unclear actually. I just realised that
it's a little unclear. I think because I feel like the way when it reads, because it is talking about like basically NPCs you don't have to do fate rolls for. They just once you get to their full. Where players obviously have to fate rolls, but the bit above that about how creatures are affected when they're incapacitated is still all completely applicable.
Okay, if you like.
I don't like it because
I don't want him to die.
I feel like I should have dived for you, but also I was like, gotta get out.
I don't know if there's much you could have done, but Aurum is torn apart. The press as he fell down on this press of bodies, and they're just like with their hands and teeth, they're just tearing this poor boy into.
Oh my god, this is like gonna freaking haunt me.
Chunks of people. Actually, because you will need to make a will roll for this.
You think I'm okay because you see my head pop up, and then you realise that someone's holding my skull.
You're on a stick. Jesus! My will roll.
Through my mouth.
I got a 3 on my will roll.
You will gain a point of insanity, and you are now. I think your insanity. That means your insanity now of 1.
Yeah.
So you for the next round you are frightened and will take a bane, I should say, to all your attack and challenge rolls.
Oh, although can I just quickly ask, how do I use fortune? Because you've given me some.
So fortune is kind of like inspiration in 5th edition Dungeons and Dragons, and so you either have it or you don't, essentially. But then if you choose to spend it, you have a list of where is it? There it is. There's a list of options of how you can spend your fortune. So just to cover that, because Amelia also has fortune as well. If you get a failure on a d20, you can spend the fortune to make that a success.
Okay, cool.
I'm tempted to do that in this case.
If another player is to roll a d20, you can spend the fortune before they roll to give them 2 boons.
Oh, okay.
And if a player, if someone is going to roll a d6, you can spend the fortune to make that roll a 6, and that can be done for everyone.
Okay.
Yeah, this might be a good one to use it on.
Because I can't afford to be frightened right now. We really need to be all hands on deck. So may I please spend my fortune?
Yes.
Okay, so I'm expending that to make it a success. So I don't take the insanity?
You don't, but describe to us what small bit of fortune has enabled you to avoid that repercussion.
I think I look at it and I'm like, oh my god, he's been torn apart, but then I sort of remember him and his evangelist, like his, sword and fire, and I was like, glory, and I'm like, glory, he's doing it for the glory, I will avenge him! Like, he's like, I will see that all people suffer for this man.
You think back to what you know about Aurum, is like, this is how he wanted to have gone.
Yeah, he's just like, yes, sword it then flame, and I'm like, using it to push through further.
No, you sort of take some inspiration to the example that Aurum has been giving, and you use it to steel yourself against the horrors that you are now seeing.
It's
cool.
Remember me.
Which does bring us to the top of the round.
Next round.
So who wants to do what?
We're gonna finish off this leader and hope that they all run away.
Yeah.
I'm going to try and keep him off the edge.
Yeah,
Yes,
I was about to say,
fly,
it's like,
do it.
it's probably convenient to notice that he's on the ground, a little bit dazed, on the edge of a massive cliff. So
Yeah, so just a bit of a kick.
yeah.
There is an action. There's a melee action that forces them back as many yards as your strength bonus, minimum 1.
There is, but like we're close to the end. And given that like there'd be a range of bonuses you'd be getting compared to the thing, so I am thinking that like you just nudge him. You sort of like just like kick him.
That's amazing.
And just, you just need to.
Sorry, it is my first day. You understand. Kick.
There's a moment of just sort of like this sudden realization is like because he's sort of like got hit in the back of the head with a wrench and is about to get up and you're just like you understand just like just kick a little bit of kick with your wargy little legs and the void caller goes tumbling over the edge. And with that, like
I want to turn towards all the FOMOR who see their leader like fall off the edge. And like with Amelia's like techno witchy magic blaring, her eyes are like gone completely black, and she just yells, "Run, demon spawn!"
And Jackaroo turns around, flailing his arm, like "For glory!" Like all still like psyched up about the slaughter of.
Yeah, between the leader dying, the this weird Wiccan MacGyver magic girl, and the and the robot horse just yelling at them. It does just cut through whatever fervor they were in, and there's this sort of like their base instincts to just sort of kick in, and this group just scatters.
The turret picks off a few as they run.
Yeah, I'm pretty sure I'd like. And Jackaroo can chase a few of them down. There's like ultimately not many of them actually get away. They have lost all that. All their strength came entirely from their unity, and once that's gone, they are easy pickings. And they scatter to. And you are able to sort of, at your leisure, sort of deal with them to the extent
and get these people down.
Yes. So again, these were the people that you recognized from the guard. One of them was Thompson. The other one was just there. You weren't really introduced. They are very grateful, I guess, momentarily to be rescued until they realize who you are, and then they're not at all happy because, I mean, it could be worse. Aurum could still be alive. Aurum. It's not.
I mean, are we taking these guys prisoner? I think we need to take them prisoner and take them to the East Keep.
Like the other one. These are defeated, but like while the other one was defeated mentally, these ones are very much defeated physically. They're in very bad shape.
Yeah.
Strap them to my butt.
Very mistreated, so they are not in any position to fight you, and you can definitely take them prisoner. You can retrieve the other prisoner. And
just very quickly, I will use my jerry-rig spell to heal Victor so that he's back. And then I want to go over to the mechanical lion thing and hopefully bring it back to life.
Oh, yes, please.
Just
so
like
I heal it for a d6 damage.
Yeah. That is enough to get it moving again.
Oh! Mechanical lion!
Long story short, you guys got a mechanical lion.
We are your masters now, and I just like pat it. It just sort of goes. It doesn't talk or anything, but it seems to be like okay. This is the lion. It's about the same size as Jackaroo. Like,
freaking sweet!
Oh my!
It's a big boy.
Got a mechanical army.
I guess I know we have to wrap up, but I'm gonna collect a couple of the pieces of like the prayers and stuff that were pinned to Aurum, and like, maybe some tatters of his clothing, and just put them in my pack and be sort of staring at his body. Because I don't say prayers because I'm not religious, but just honoring his fallen. You've probably seen people do similar things before in the military, and so yeah, that's totally. You get a few scraps of scripture.
Yeah. Dark ending. Amelia like is at the back of the group, and as they're leaving, she goes, "I told you your god had no power here."
Oh!
Wow.
Oh, he's already dead. Why kick him when he's dismembered?
Well, that's the lesson you're taking away. Yeah.
I mean, you're not wrong. No, but like, damn.
So Jack has had his say and Amelia hers. Now, what stuff did he have?
You can definitely get a fine selection. There's some armor. He's got a nice suit of armor. He's got a big two-handed hammer. There's a bunch of stuff that he's got.
The maul needs to be used by someone else. He would want it that way. Like
he's got a bunch of stuff that you can definitely loot the corpse at your leisure.
Loot the friend's corpse.
Now, before we wrap up, just quickly, what are you doing with the prisoners? What do you do with these before you what is your plan?
Do you take them to Eastkeep or to the Compact? That's the
Compact.
Yeah, I guess we take
Screw
them
the Eastkeep. I don't trust them at all.
Yeah, so you take them back.
Eastkeep isn't going to give us a promotion. So
yeah.
Excellent, fantastic, guys. That was fantastic. First death though.
Whoa! And it was messy.
Our first character death.
There's a bit up and down, obviously. So
yeah, no, it is definitely one of those where once you go down, if they keep pounding on you, then you are screwed.
Yeah. Particularly with the way that group worked is that they did automatic damage at the end of a round. They just kept hitting you.
Crowds are nasty.
Okay. Well,
all right.
Let's wrap this up. Let's quickly just whip round the group. Tell everyone again who you are, what you're up to, and where they can find you. Zane, lead us off.
I'm Zane C. Weber, as you can see beneath me. I am at Zane C. Weber on all socials, and you can find all of my projects at that'snotcanon.com. Most of them are podcasts.
Amy.
The end.
I'm Jamie Collette. I'm a voice actor based in Sydney, Australia, and my Twitter is @MuffinManifesto, and you can find my stuff there.
And I'll head up. I'm Rhiannon Marshall, and you can find me on the socials below. I am also a recurring character in the Penny Peep Show podcast. Check it out.
And I'm Steve D. I'm the president of Tin Star Games, which you can find on Twitter at that address or tinstargames.weebly.com. We are putting out our first big role-playing game, Relics, on Kickstarter in April. So if you like games about angels and demons, please check it out.
Sweet.
I actually ran a game of Relics at a convention last year, and it was fantastic. I'm very much looking forward to that Kickstarter. I have been Sammy P. I am the _real Sammy P on Twitter. You can find more of my stuff on YouTube at Sammy P Productions. I do a series that I call Let's Voice, where I play games that role-playing games that already have perfectly good voice acting, and I turn it off so I have to do it myself. There's new episodes coming out today and tomorrow, and then going forward into the week, because I've finally been able to start recording more stuff. And before we finish off, the one last thing, a little surprise, I guess. We've talked a little bit in chat about how this game is definitely taking a lot of inspiration from XCOM, and I always like the word inspiration rather than blatantly stealing from. But they're both the same.
Yep.
So in light of all of the lovely audience interaction, that is just fantastic. I mean, getting that, I was kind of hoping someone would run up and try and get the lion involved at the get-go, but it would definitely have been tricky to get the lion, and the lion would have been pretty low health. But you now have a lion because of our wonderful audience. But in XCOM, obviously, if everyone's played it, base building is a thing. So what we're going to do is I'm going to hand over the responsibilities of base building to the audience. So after this episode goes down, I'm going to tweet out go onto Twitter. I'm going to put out a poll. It'll have the community hashtag for Encounter Roleplay. I believe I've talked to Will. He'll retweet it, so it makes it easier to find. But there will be a list of options, and whichever one gets the most votes, that will be the upgrade that the Compact Safe House receives. And we'll do that every now and again as to improve that thing, and those will have tangible benefits to the party. So look out for that on Twitter. But otherwise, thank you very much for joining us. This has been Empire in Shadow, the Compact. Our sponsors for this show have been Fantasy Grounds, Wayland Games, Tabletop Loot. They're all fantastic. Check them out. They're wonderful people. And stay tuned for the next show. We've got so much content coming on Encounter Roleplay, and it's all fantastic.
Bye.
Bye.
Bye, everyone.
Thank you. That was great fun.
Oh, thank you so much.